Let's go. We're back. Podcast 13. We're on 13 now. We had a week hiatus. I think it was a week, right?
Short. It felt rather long. I think it's been 8 days. Yeah.
Jeez, yeah. Didn't do one at the end of last week. Back in it again with another one. Start the week off fresh. Got two lovely guests today.
Wonderful guests.
Do you want to introduce them?
Hello,
We've got
viewers.
Mia Veal on the top right.
Hi guys, I'm Mia Veal.
Hi, Mia Veal. The bottom left, you've got Potato Camera Romeo.
Yeah.
They're both avid horror film lovers. No,
Oh, yes.
Getting into it.
yeah, I'm trying to drill it in to everyone, but there's few people are less receptive than others. But these are probably the most receptive of the bunch.
Yeah, I mean, we'll say
So
that.
here we are. I'm excited. I'm really excited because we basically kept everything secret up until now. Because obviously last stream we talked about the films that I told you to watch. I instructed you to watch, and I believe the majority have been watched, bar a few maybe. But like, I mean, as long as you've got like 3 or 4 films to talk about, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, I think we all watched at least one. So
No, I think we've got quite a few common ones. Like, I don't know, Remy, did you watch The Lighthouse?
No, I didn't watch that one.
I sent her a clip
You
and she
let
watched the
down.
clip.
I did watch that scene. That
I made
horrific-
it with
Count-
scene. 'cause that's
Oh, my
my
favourite
favourite.
scene.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. So she watched that.
Wow, I did.
I loved it. And then I think, have you watched Annihilation, Remy?
Yeah, I'd watched that today.
Okay, good. Okay, so everyone's watched Annihilation.
Yeah.
Mm.
And we've all
What about Midsummer?
We've all
Yeah,
watched-
Okay, so everyone's
That
watched
was
Midsummer and
spooky.
Annihilation. That's good. And you've watched Hereditary?
I have. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So Spencer
Veal
and I
has,
watched
in a way.
I have.
Yeah, in a way. Oh,
Well,
yeah.
My friends, so not
Yeah,
quite. But
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm really in the mood. I've got my Midsummer shirt on right now.
No,
No,
you
you
have
don't.
Not done that.
That's not a shirt, bro.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yes.
This is one I got specially done.
Did you actually?
did you
Yeah,
print
mate.
it yourself?
No.
Absolute
No.
huge effort.
I did go to quite a lot of effort and quite unusual expense to get this, but I was really vibing. I just watched the film for like the 3rd time, and I just really felt that it resonated.
Jesus
like,
Christ,
deeply.
really?
Okay, yeah.
It is a very
3
good.
times.
I've
Yeah,
watched
it's
it
good.
more afterwards, but like that was I just bought it after the 3rd viewing because
Oh, yes.
I've actually watched it quite a few times to show various friends. So like
Yeah.
I watched it myself, like almost after release, and I was kind of like iffy on it, like I wasn't really a big fan, and then I got the Blu-ray and I watched it myself again, and I really liked it, and then I showed my friends, half my friends at uni, and then I got my housemates drunk and made them watch it again. So yeah,
Nice.
Good
and then
tactic.
some of them really didn't like me
Yeah.
after that, so that was good.
Why?
Bit of a booky one if you're drunk, I reckon.
Yeah, some of them didn't like it. One of the housemate I don't talk to, she was not very happy.
Is she
Well,
watching the live?
Pardon?
Is she watching the live?
Well, no. What do you mean?
Oh.
What?
Doubt it. Doubt it.
Like no, like I was.
Bro.
No, we were watching it, and then the housemate we don't really see much of. She sort of came in and watched it, and she was just like, "What the fuck is this?" And
Well,
just
she was
quite
scared.
disgusted. Not
Mm.
scared, just disgusted. Like whenever I describe the film, I never say it's like a horror film. It's just kind of disturbing.
Yeah,
Hmm.
you are right.
You can class it as horror. I wasn't really sure. Is it like a psychological?
No, it definitely is
horror?
a horror. It's a horror,
It
but
is,
it's
yeah.
not. It's not.
Because I saw a lot of people saying it was more of a drama or a thriller or something.
Nah, the themes are horrible. Like
Yeah.
The
it's-
and
themes
the
are
imagery.
Yeah.
definitely horror related for
More
sure.
Yeah.
disturbing horror, isn't it?
Yeah, so
yeah.
I mean, so I'd like to just from each of you in turn hear which of the films you watched was your favorites. So Mia, which one was your favorite?
I'd say it's hard to pick between Midsummer and Annihilation. I'd say maybe Midsummer. I've watched it twice now, so
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I really like the sci-fi kind of aspect.
Yeah, it was cool.
That's more my normal vibe. So yeah, one of the two.
Okay. Spencer.
I mean, to be honest, I didn't really enjoy any of them. I think.
Lol.
No, we'll get into it eventually. But if I had to
Alright.
choose one out of the 3 I've watched, it'd have to be Midsummer as well, just because the cinematography was really good. I think they filmed it really well, especially
so
some camera angles were really nice.
But
Mm.
you watched The Lighthouse as well.
Yeah, that was burger, bro. That was the worst film I've seen. No, I'm being dead serious.
Finn likes that.
Oh, sorry. We'll get into that, but that's definitely the bottom. If I watch
I mean,
all 5,
I fully want to lash out right now if you're trying to talk
No,
about
we'll keep going. We'll
photography
keep going.
and you're just like
Allow it
burning
later.
out. Oh, okay, that's rude though. That's disrespectful. Like talking about cinematography, you're just gonna diss The Lighthouse. Are you mad? Like the cinematography in that is actually insane. But yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Remy.
I'd probably go Hereditary.
All right.
That
I
was-
like how you.
yeah.
Yeah, I like. Wait, sorry, Spencer. I'm not gonna lie. I completely forgot what film you said because I literally like blacked out after the whole. What did you
Oh,
say?
Midsummer.
Angry.
Oh, okay. Alright, sorry. Okay, so everyone's kind of. I mean, obviously Veal was Midsummer and Annihilation, but everyone's gone for a different kind of film. That's kind
What
of
did you say
interesting.
yours was? Lighthouse.
I'd say out of all of the ones I told you about, The Lighthouse is my favorite. Yeah,
Mm.
I just think there's something special about that film.
Yeah, it's in black and
Yeah,
white, mate.
I like started it once, but
Mm.
yeah, honestly, I couldn't hack it. I'm sorry.
I
like watch it again one day, but it just put me out a
Honestly, I
bit.
don't understand how people like.
Yeah.
It's like the same argument where people are like, "Oh, I don't want to watch a foreign language film. Like,
No, yeah.
I don't want to read the subtitles." Like, you don't.
What, because it was black and white?
Well, yeah, like some people don't want to watch it because of black and white or because it was a different aspect ratio. Like, just get over it.
Mm.
watch it,
I
it's
thought that
Yeah,
actually-
no, true.
I thought it made it a lot more disturbing, but we can talk about this later.
Yes, we can.
Disturbing seed.
Well, what we're going to talk about now, if everything's going to be talked about later.
No, where's the structure?
Oh no,
Where to start?
I think to me, I think we should start Midsummer. I think that's the most like gruesome / weird concept
Yeah.
to me. Like, I just couldn't wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
I was sat there, my mouth open half the film. Like, what's going on?
Classic Spencer.
like-
Mind
I
blown.
was mind blown.
It
Yeah.
was mind blown.
Well, actually, quite an interesting thought. Like, so my little sister studies film, and she is obviously like really into films as well. And I heavily recommend Midsummer, obviously. And she's like, she is not a squeamish person at all. She has watched many films which I struggled with quite a lot, like
Mm.
Raw, which I told you about, Spencer.
Yep.
I really did not enjoy that film at all.
Yeah.
Made me really uncomfortable. But apparently she was like, she literally raved about it. She was the one who made me watch it. She like raved about it to me, and I was like, what the fuck? When I was watching it, because she just obviously didn't have any issues with it, but to me it was horrible.
I thought it was really full on. It's one of the most full on things I've ever watched.
Yeah,
like,
it was really
the bit with the
finger. The
rock.
finger was the worst bit, I think.
Wait,
What?
which film are we
I'm
talking
talking
about?
about Raw. I'm talking about Raw. Sorry, I was just,
Yeah,
I was off on a
shit.
tangent.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Because
No.
I was saying, the point I was
Hello.
trying to make was that my little sister didn't finish Midsummer. She got to the Etta Stoop part, so the bit where they jump off the cliff, and
Oh,
she
yeah.
couldn't watch
That
it.
was
So
a fuck,
Yeah,
mate.
To be fair, that was pretty horrible.
I love that bit so much. Every time I
Eh.
make someone watch it, I'm looking forward to that particular bit. And I'm
Mm.
just like watching them. Just like,
Yeah, mate,
It was
you just like you know it's coming, but then they do it so like they actually do it really gruesomely.
I wasn't
The way-
expecting to focus on it so
Yeah,
much.
honestly.
Didn't shy away
Like
at
the
all.
head, man, they just go in on the head.
yeah, they squashed that motherfucker.
I
Like,
thought
They
the
they get that
really
like,
legs
properly.
were really got me with the zooming.
Oh
down.
yeah, when it just like when it was just completely done.
Yeah.
I think the best bit was just the way it was done and like just the way it was filmed. So like when they cut out all the noise and then they sort of zoomed in on Danny and they made that sort of like the effects that they were using and the shots that they were picking and the sound editing really like made you feel like you were watching it from her perspective. Like it was very clearly just trying to make you put you in her shoes, because obviously like most of the film is based around her relationship with Christian and how fucked up it is and how horrible of a person he is, and B, the like trauma of her parents and sister like dying
Mhm.
and her like sort of dealing with that. So like obviously like throughout the film she has like loads of panic attacks and stuff like that, and I think that this scene was like the most trying like was the scene where it was most trying to sort of put the viewer in the shoes of someone having a panic attack, like in terms of the editing and the camera work and stuff like that, and it was so good. And then when like obviously like when all the cult members started doing all their like moaning to sort of sympathize
wow.
Yeah,
with the dying old
mate.
person, it was just like so
Oh,
it's like creepy as fuck, but it's so like powerful. It's so good.
Mm.
yeah.
Well, do you know how how the parents died then? You know, at the start. I never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it gas or
Mate.
something?
What did you not
Car
get it?
exhaust.
Yeah, the sister strapped the car exhaust under the parents' bedroom door and then
Oh,
put it
okay.
out.
Yeah.
And
So
then
I
let
knew
the
she
car-
died to that. So they both died to the same thing, right?
Yeah, so the sister killed the
Yeah.
parents and then obviously killed
Okay.
herself.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense.
The way that she did it to herself, I thought was very
Yeah.
disturbing. I
was
I
really
really liked
That
it.
scene was like horrible. It was
It
so
was
good.
so good.
It was so
Right.
good, man.
And I wasn't expecting it to be like that. So
Isn't it?
yeah,
The vibe, like they did it so well. Like
I
the
think it was just-
horrible.
It was the score. Like the score was like really droning,
Mm.
and then they did like
Oh
they
my
did that sort
God.
of tracking shot through the house,
yeah.
like through the garage. Like
Oh
literally
my
the
God.
way that they went, like it's so well done because it's like almost done in this sort of like neo-noir crime thriller way where like everything's really dark and lit by these like weird shades. So like everything was red lit by the lights of like the fire engine or whatever.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Whenever people
yeah.
watch it for the first time, it's kind of hard to like work it out, but it's so good the way that it makes you like piece it together through the long shot. Like, so they see the exhaust and they're like, oh, okay. And then they see the hose pipe coming under the door, and then the parents not breathing, and then it, like
Yeah.
the last one just leads off, and the sister's just like that
It's
image of
such
her
a
is
horrible
so
image. Exactly.
grim.
But it's so good.
But did you?
Yeah.
Oh, no, go
Well,
on,
no.
go on, Mia.
I was just gonna say, I just like how it pans out the window and it shows the snow and then the logo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just the very start of the film. That's not even before it introduces the name of the film, and that
Yeah.
it comes up saying Midsommar.
Really sets the tone.
It's one of my favorite.
It's
It's one of my favorite intros, especially when you pair it with the whole like, because if it went straight into that scene, you'd be like, oh, okay, you know, I guess someone's dying, whatever. But when it's paired with the whole scene, so you get like the whole long scene before when Danny's talking to her friend about Christian, and then she calls him because she's had the worrying emails from her sister. That is like so. It's only like, what is it, like 5-6 minute scene, but that scene like literally solidifies her character and builds her character so well, because then it's you can
Yeah.
you know it's proved, because then the next scene like everyone's in horror because they know the context and they know the way that Danny like cares for her sister and her family, and the way that she's already so fragile, and then
Exactly.
just
Yeah.
like
and
it's
it
just
also
so well done.
set up Christian to be quite a kind of awful character because he's telling
Yeah.
her he's being dumb and like calm down, and you see
Yeah.
what actually happened. She was right all along.
And then when she's like crying, just sobbing on him, and
Yeah.
he's just like sitting there, and it's like, oh God.
Stoic man.
Yeah, he's like clearly not into it. I mean, obviously, like we know
No.
that because of the conversation with his friends that he has, where he's
True.
like
Yeah.
obviously trying to
That's
bin
true.
her off, but then doesn't want to like cause any issues, and is sort of like on the
Yeah.
fence about it. But then, you know, it's obviously
Oh,
sort of a massive problem that then, you know, Danny's sister does commit suicide and stuff.
You
But
can't,
Exactly.
yeah,
you can't get rid of her after that, really.
no.
exactly.
In terms of the opening shot, I think it's one of the best films I've seen with opening shot.
Yeah.
But did you guys see? So you know the last shot of obviously like the sister with the pipe sort of taped to her mouth. Did you
Yeah.
see the so later in the film when Danny's being crowned as the May Queen? Did you see in the bushes
Oh,
what was
I
happening?
never saw what that was. What was it?
What was in the bushes?
Well, I don't know, Spencer. If you
Yes.
look up, hold on.
In the bushes.
I don't know if I clocked it.
Yeah, because I've seen
Type into
videos.
Google Midsummer Danny's sister in
Ooh.
trees.
Danny's
Oh,
Oh yeah,
shit,
it's already.
swear.
And the picture, and then bring it up, and then like we'll show it.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. I saw that on a tweet or something.
Yeah, I literally every time I watch it, I'm not waiting for it because it's such like it's so spooky when you
Um,
see it, but I think it's so
Oh,
subtle.
shit.
Yeah, I'll get up now. You'll just hear this one here on stream, yeah.
Yep.
So the sort of hidden face.
Oh, I can't
Yep.
see it, man. Oh.
I didn't. I
But
don't
yeah,
remember seeing that film, but I remember. I think you might have pointed out to me. Someone did. I've seen the picture before of it.
yeah. So it's just like you can see in the bushes behind, you know,
Oh
the image
shit!
of
Is that
her
how
sister.
she looked when she
What?
the poison
Yeah.
and stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, when she was like stood there with the pipe. Yeah.
Oh, that's mad.
Yeah. So it's pretty crazy. Well, I mean, it's not
Oh
really.
my
It's
god,
kind
with
of
the
just more like
pipe.
an Easter egg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool though.
Yeah. Was she was on drugs at that point, wasn't she? That's when everything was that when everything was going really strange?
I think I can't remember the exact chronology of the events, but I
When
know
she
that
goes and sits down at the dinner table
yeah,
and
when
all
she does the
the flowers
dance,
are moving and stuff and
yeah,
Oh my
because
god.
they the
spooky.
drink that they take before the May dance is
Mm.
psychedelic. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
But what
I can't remember.
psychedelics is it? Like magic mushrooms or something?
I don't know. It's kind of just sort of said that it's just like an ancient, like I guess. I mean, it's used in the similar sort of stuff is used in cults and tribes like all over the place, like ayahuasca, isn't it? Stuff like that, like
Yeah, yeah.
seen as some sort of spiritual enlightening, that kind of thing. So I guess it's just some sort of herb or flower or plant or mushroom that is naturally found. Because obviously earlier in the film, when they're all together, you know, they all like when they are literally before they even arrive at the cult's camp, they all do magic shrooms together with
Yeah.
a few members of
Yeah.
the cult.
Oh yeah.
So I think it's obviously just something that's quite innate with the culture of the cult
Yeah.
as well.
I really liked how they showed it through all the visual effects of like making all the nature come alive and stuff. I thought that was just such a
Yeah.
amazing way to show it. Like,
Yeah,
okay.
that was sick. Like just all the effects that you could see, like
Mhm.
everything was just slightly moving,
And all
slightly
the
off.
grass like growing out her hands and stuff. I
Oh
thought
my god, yeah.
really freaked me out. I didn't like the look of that.
You
And
didn't like the
obviously when
grass out the hands?
Nah,
Yeah, I get what you mean. It's a bit like grim.
it's
for some
quite funny
reason.
because they have a scene just like that in Annihilation, don't they?
Oh my god, they do! I
Oh,
didn't like that
no.
actually. I did not like that.
Yeah,
I thought it was
Yeah.
cool.
we'll get to that.
Yeah,
But it's- yeah,
similar. Yeah.
I just think I don't know. I think it's really interesting because I was watching an interview with Ari Aster, so the director, who was basically saying before he wrote this movie, he had a big breakup with like a long-term girlfriend of his. So basically, he was just sort of really emotional, really sort of down in the dumps, and just wanted to write something that was based around a breakup. But obviously, watching his previous work, Hereditary, you know that he's not going to write some soppy like romance film. So that's why I love about
Oh,
it. It's like I don't think anyone like well, I mean, I don't want to say that, but like it's obviously not very common for a horror film to be based like entirely on a breakup because that is
Yeah.
essentially what it is. Like it does it so well as well. Like it's not all sort of trying to invoke horror through just pure imagery. Like it's all about the sort of surmounting tension between the discussions that the two parties are having. Like you can see sort of Christian, you know, slowly going off the rails, and even though it's like, you know, especially when he like forgets Danny's birthday and he just does
Yeah, I
not
was gonna
care,
say, yeah, horrible.
and just everything around that was just so it's just so horrible to watch because obviously like everyone, you know, Danny's made out to be such this pure character and she's so nice to everyone, and just obviously like especially you just see it like in the little parts of the dialogue, like at the beginning when she agrees to taking the mushroom tea even though she's obviously
Oh
not ready
yeah,
because otherwise everyone else will be held back, so she's sort of
Yeah.
just like she knows that
selfless.
she knows she's going to struggle, but she just does it
Mm.
anyway.
I did that. I felt Christian was almost helping to pressure her in that bit, and I just thought it kind of showed that he's always happy to take his friend's side over her. He didn't stand up to his friend who was
Yeah,
his friend's like constantly horrible to her, and he just kind of allows it all the
he
time.
just doesn't really care. He's like indifferent.
Yeah.
He's not like actively mean to her, but he just is so
Yeah.
absent. Like
Yeah.
shit.
I can never remember the
Yeah.
name. I think so. I think he's Josh. It's the guy who's played by I can never remember his name.
Will?
The British guy. Yeah, Will
Yeah.
Poulter.
Eyebrows?
That's it. Will Poulter.
Yeah, Will.
Eyebrows. Yeah, that's his name. Yeah. but
Mark,
yeah. So
Mark, isn't it?
oh, that was it. Mark. Yeah. So Josh is the other guy. So the one who's writing the paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the good place. Yeah.
Yeah, so Mark is obviously like that sort of archetypal Joker bully sort of character, and I really love that. Like that was so concrete because they like that had the whole thing where he was so that theme of him being the fool was like really physically shown. Because spoilers, I mean, not like we haven't done them already, but spoilers, towards the end of the film, they had, so after they skinned him, obviously like they stuffed him full of straw and then they put the jester costume on him
Oh
before they
yeah, I saw that.
in the ritual burning ground.
Mm.
So he had like the jester bells all over him and stuff like that, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
I liked it when he pissed on the
Yeah.
special
Oh
tree.
yeah, the special tree.
Favorite scene.
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, it kind of did show like he just did not care at all. And then obviously, like I didn't notice it like on my first or even maybe my second viewing, but I didn't realize. So when Josh went to take pictures of the sacred book, and then the person like came in and then whacked him over the head. Yeah, it was not the mask. It was he was wearing Mark's skin.
Yeah.
Oh, that's grim.
Yeah, so it's kind of dark lighting. So at first I couldn't tell, but like after a few viewings, I was like, holy shit, he's wearing him.
Oh shit.
Kind of fucked up. Yeah, kind of cool though.
What I don't understand is when they went to this camp, like it seemed like their death was already certain. Like all of them were gonna die. You know?
Why?
How so?
Well, as soon as that cliff happened, that guy starts. I don't know who was screaming. What was his name? It wasn't really part of the main group. He was like
Simon.
Yeah, as soon as he started having an outbreak, I sort of just knew like everyone's gonna slowly die one by one.
I know what you mean. And then it's when like they don't let her leave to like go to the station. Or
that was when that's
you
like
just know no one's getting out.
Like,
you just know that's like the end of it.
That was kind of it, but I feel like it's funny because it's not. I get where you could argue that, but also it's made quite clear throughout the film that the cult don't necessarily have any ill intentions towards blatantly ill intentions. It's just that they have they have ceremonies, they have rituals to complete, and they're going to do that. Like they didn't stop the Eterstoop, and if you watch the director's cut, like there's this whole scene.
I saw some of the scenes from that.
They were like sacrificing a child like into a river. But basically Danny so the whole it's actually kind of a really crucial scene for the development of Danny and Christian's relationship. So it's before they fully fall out, and I think it's after the Eterstoop, but they go, it's like at night, and then they tie this child to like some sort of weight, like a rock, I think, and then they're about to throw the rock in the river as like a sacrifice to some sort of like river god or something like that. And then Danny is just like, what the fuck, no. And then basically just kicks off a huge fuss when everyone else, like Christian, just doesn't care. He's like watching it and he's just like, oh, it's their traditions. Like, you should just let it happen. Like, they just got to do what they got to do. And she's like, what the fuck? No. And then they basically just allow it because they kind of like Danny. You see that they sort of, it's another one of the sort of the main themes of the story is like, although Danny is constantly in panic and obviously is like massively traumatized, she sort of finds her place.
She does,
I thought she kind of became one of them by the end, and I thought Pele kind of is Pele, right?
Mm-hmm.
The friend that brought them in.
The Swedish guy.
Choosing her from the start, he always wanted her to join and become the May Queen. Like, I wasn't sure there was romantic kind of.
Yeah,
it still confuses me.
Yeah, they don't really like
even the start, he's the only one that shows her concern, like proper concern, and is really kind to her. Like when not even her boyfriend would.
Literally.
Sure if there was something there.
Yeah,
they did kiss though, didn't
they? Yeah. When she won the May Queen, like he was like, oh, well done, Danny, and then he kissed her, and then she was all like carried away.
Yeah, and it's a bit like, but nothing else happens, and it's like, okay,
my shit.
But like by that point, it was all sort of like I never really get it, because sometimes I think, oh, he's like making these efforts like way before they go to Sweden just because he purely like fancies her. But then also I'm thinking maybe he's literally just performing like a ritualistic duty and has picked out someone that could be the May Queen. Like he just thinks that she has potential.
Recognized what she how she could fit in with that and picked her on purpose. I know.
Yeah.
But I thought it's kind of very cold, isn't it, that he takes these people there knowing that lots of them are definitely going to die, because they need a certain amount of foreigners to die, don't they?
Yeah.
So he knew at least like a few of his mates were dead, but I guess it wasn't the same thing to him. It wasn't like murder. It's just like
Yeah, they see it very differently, obviously.
Yeah, I think because part of it was like they had to fulfill certain roles, like so I think that he didn't feel bad because they had to behave a certain way to fill the role. Do you get me? Like the fool. So
what were the rules?
I cannot remember off the top of my head, but like obviously it's just like they if they had acted another way, then it might not have happened that kind of in that way.
Yeah, it's all like
That's
it's
what I
like
think.
preset. It's all like how it was like the pictures on the walls and stuff. The story's already
Oh
told.
shit, yeah, true.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
I mean, there was that. I think it's just there's so much like visual matches like between parts of the films. Like in the beginning when Danny's like all curled up in her bed, like just after she's found out her sister's died. There's that mural or the painting of the bear with the child, like the young, like vulnerable child, like just above her bed.
Okay.
And then obviously in the end, like Christian is
Yeah.
buried like
Fair enough.
stowed in the bear. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that fave scene.
Yeah. Was there any bits that you particularly liked or didn't like, Spencer, or why?
This is what I mean. So when you said like horror films, I'm thinking, alright, I'm gonna be fucking scared watching every single one of these films. Not one of them was I scared. I was just more like, even like The Lighthouse and even like the other one.
The Lighthouse is the least horror of the lot.
Yeah, and then like I just, it's just like you said, it's more
So
like
did you?
more gruesome, isn't it?
I wouldn't say gruesome. I say it's disturbing. Like it's,
Yeah, it's disturbing.
Yeah, it's disturbing images, but it's also the gruesomeness that made it disturbing. Like you said, like when he jumped off that cliff, like seeing like that girl's face, like that woman's face, was disgusting.
Yeah.
You just see.
Yeah,
Like,
but it's all like
vile.
I think all contributes to like the psychological,
It
like the
does.
mood of it. Because like it's not. So when you say horror, what sort of stuff gets you scared? Like jump scares, right?
Jump
That's what you're.
scares.
No, yeah.
Shit.
It's not jumps. It's more like the theme of it. So like this is more of a, to me, it's just a weird theme, as in like it's meant to like boot you out and like make you feel uncomfortable. Whereas a horror for me is like I'm fucking scared to go downstairs to the toilet. You know, I'm scared to open my door. Whereas if I open my door, I know someone's not gonna blow some dust on my face and I'm paralyzed. You know.
Okay, I mean, I get you, but I think this, I know for a fact because I felt it after watching it first time. It's basically just anxiety inducing. That's like what it is. The
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
film,
yeah. I
like
see that.
It
you,
just makes
you,
me
you know,
feel like unnerved.
yeah, it really does not. It just makes so it's less like terrifying you, making you like it doesn't make you afraid of the dark. It doesn't make you afraid to go downstairs or afraid of the ocean or whatever. But it does
Yeah.
make you like even I guess you could say it's more sort of like a deep rooted fear, like because it's messing with your psyche almost. So it's making you more anxious and more uncomfortable because it's all about, you know, immersing you in this experience that is
Yeah.
not necessarily supernatural. Like cults exist over the world. There's so many of them. So many of them have fucked up rituals just like these. So many of them have fucked up traditions that are even worse than these. Like it's a completely real possibility. So I think it's more of like a study into like the human emotion in relation to the breakup. Like obviously it's a horror, but it's just a breakup story.
Yeah.
That's true. Actually, it's just a really fucked up one. Yeah.
Yeah, because obviously like the whole so the ending, so the pinpoint of the story was sort of reached when Danny is ultimately made to choose whether she wants to send Christian into the ritual building or not. And you see that she's sort of like, over the whole film, she's been building up this sort of anger or distaste or sadness towards him. And then obviously it's super, super sealed when she walks in on the really, really fun sex ritual scene
Yeah.
with
That's
Christian.
great.
That was
scene.
so weird. Oh my
Great scene,
god.
Oh, it's so funny. But yeah, when she
Pretty
walks in on
funny.
that, obviously, she has that. You can see that she's already become one because she's already won the May Queen contest, so she's won the respect of the locals. And then obviously she has that whole group of women that go around with her, and they do the same thing they did during the Etta strip, which is like that whole sort of sharing emotion together by replicating actions. So they all sort of like copy her cries, and I thought that was like a really like it was just I don't know. It's creepy, but it's almost like cathartic. Like the way they act is like almost I don't know how to understand it, but it's just so unusual.
Yeah, it felt like they were trying to share her pain and kind of help her by spreading it out between them.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. Which like compared to
That's what they were
what's his
doing.
name?
Yeah. So kind of a nice gesture, I suppose.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so they were like, but that's what I mean, that's correct. Like, that's completely right because that's what they were doing. They were like accepting her, and then obviously they gave her the power to decide whether to kill Christian or not. And then by that point, she had sort of, obviously she'd been given this love, care, and empathy, even despite because of her. She's got this whole twisted viewpoint, right? Because she's already traumatized going into it, and throughout the whole film, she's being antagonized by Christian. She's being bullied by Mark, and she's sort of just like torn in between them. But Pele, since she'd known Pele, so before they even went to Sweden, he's so nice to her, and then they get there, everyone's so nice to her, and she has the women who go around, empathize with her, copy her actions. She wins the May Queen. Like, if you look at it from her perspective, it's less of a horror and more of like a journey of acceptance into like a group of people.
Well, especially because she's lost her whole family and stuff.
She's got nothing back at home.
Yeah.
Like, literally nothing.
She realizes she's losing Christian, and it's almost like she's been offered this entire new family that's going to accept her. And even though they have kind of strange beliefs and traditions, she kind of gets pulled into it a bit, I thought.
Yeah, 100. I mean, 100%. Because obviously, like, there's that final shot which I love so much with like the screeching score, which for one is like super unnerving. Like every time I listen to it, like I really just like I'm waiting for it to stop because it is properly unnerving.
Oh,
like,
you don't like?
No, I do, but like I love it, but I hate it because obviously like it's so like disturbing because it is like screaming, like it's almost like a death scream. And then obviously they zoom in on her, so at first she sees the building light up and you can see the horror in her eyes when she's like, shit, should I have done that? And then she like gradually accepts it, and then she's like smiling, like she's fully embraced it, and you're like, holy shit, okay. And it's like sort of like a eureka moment where I just thought it was like a really good character arc, I thought.
Yeah, true.
Not necessarily a positive one, but definitely.
I mean, I think that depends on the perspective.
I wanted him to die, but
for sure. I think most people did. Yeah. He was a horrible person.
But he got picked.
Yeah. Obviously, the way he went was a bit rough, like. But
boiling alive in the fat of the bear suit.
Yeah, probably a bit peak, but
Did he feel it at all? Because I thought he was paralyzed, right? So he couldn't actually feel the.
No. They said
they could still feel everything.
They just can't move, which makes it even worse.
Yeah, they also they lied. So obviously they had people from the cult who had to sacrifice themselves as well. They lied to them. They were like, here's like some nectar that's gonna stop the pain, and then he just immediately starts screaming in pain. And you're like, oh, okay, maybe not. But like, Women in Black review, classic Dom. Thanks for that.
I do rate that film though.
I hate that film.
Why? That's a decent film. It's decent.
It was 50% jump scare.
Well, I thought, at the start, I don't know if you guys remember, but I noticed on the second watch, and Ella thought so. Pele says, my parents died. They died in I think he says they died in a fire.
Oh, did they?
I thought that's what he said.
I don't caught that.
I wasn't sure if his parents also got sacrificed and stuff. I just thought it was interesting.
Shit, yeah, it could have.
It's interesting. I don't remember what he said.
My parents died.
Oh,
I died in a fire when I was young. And I was thinking they could have got burned.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he does say that. That's mad.
It's kind of interesting that his parents could have had exactly the same fate, but he would still be a strong believer in it. And he would bring in people to suffer through the same thing. Because he's quite a strong believer in it.
I mean, like you were talking about earlier, that attributes to, that makes us more understand his motives. So, like, obviously, if he was so normalized that he could accept his parents being sacrificed, he wasn't going to blink twice about bringing friends in. So, like, that would make sense. Like, it wasn't a big deal to him at all. Like, because obviously, it's like this whole idea that these people aren't psychopaths who enjoy harming people. Like, at no point do you see Pele sort of like relish in the
No.
pain that his friends are enduring. But
Yeah.
it's the whole point that he's been brainwashed to think that this is how it needs to be. Like
Mhm.
but then that's sort of like a really good sort of theme that runs true in all cult lifestyles. Like that's the whole point of a cult, isn't it? They brainwash you into thinking that this twisted way of life is the correct one and there's no alternative. Like that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Back to what we were saying before about how I don't find it scary, right? I was
Right.
thinking, like you said, this is more anxiety inducing. I feel like I'd be more scared to sort of attend some sort of midsummer event in Sweden. I'd feel
But
I-
because of this film.
yeah, because obviously my only sort of experience is of watching this film of a midsummer event. So I'd be a bit cautious when
Yeah.
attending.
Definitely. Well,
I really want to go to one. Like I was gonna go this year. I was gonna go
No.
this year. Yeah,
yes,
man.
been
It's-
die-hard
but-
fan.
yeah, just turn up with a shirt and everything. Just go like, when are we doing this? Let's do it. When are we
Imagine
killing
the
the elders?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
But no, I get what you mean. But I think obviously I don't think that's the point because it's not like, you know, it's not. It's a really niche scenario. I don't think it's
Yeah,
meant
like,
to sort
exactly.
of terrify you of that scenario. It's just meant to sort of be like I like that's I think that's why I like it because it's not a horror film that's trying to scare people for the sake of it. It's a horror film that's telling a good story with good characters and has good themes and meaning behind it. Like
Mhm.
it's quite powerful.
And I thought it was so. I just love the way it was filmed so much. It's so. My favorite shot, I think, is when they're driving along and then the camera goes upside down,
Yeah.
the sign, and then back down, and they're upside. Oh, it's so cool. I just.
Or they do the same kind of trick when Danny is like having a panic attack, where she excuses herself from the conversation with Pele
Yeah.
in the apartment. She goes into
Oh
the
my god,
bathroom.
yeah,
then
that
it's
was
the-
cool.
Yeah, that's
That
what I
was
mean.
so cool.
The camera work and the shots in this film are like crazy good. But then they did, you know, it's the same in Hereditary as well. You can see Ari Aster's influence is like, just in terms of his camera work, is so good.
Mm.
Mm.
Oh, one thing, I thought it was cool how even though it's like a horror film and it's like you know
The
normally,
bright color palette.
huh?
The bright color palette.
Yeah. How did you know? Yeah, it's all so bright and light and like beautifully colored and with beautiful aesthetics, but it's just such a dark, disturbing story at the same time, and I really love the contrast.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
so
it's
good
like-
though, isn't it?
So cool.
Mm.
I think it's I remember seeing the trailer and then everyone in the comments was like, "What the fuck? This color palette!" Like that's the outstanding thing because every other horror film, or like 99% of horror films, you know, you've got this dark, you've got a grey, you've got a blue color palette because you know the whole point is that the color palette is chosen to sort of instill this base level of atmosphere or emotion. So you know, blues for sadness or depression, and greys for sort of darkness or fear, and then reds for sort of violence and murder and that kind of thing. But they just really just did not care. Like even during the Etterstup, like they didn't use like a dark day, they didn't have like a dark cliff, they weren't all in shadow. Like it was middle of the day. The cliff was like made of chalk or something because it was so bright.
It was
And-
like blindingly white, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was so. And then they had the white ritual stone which they wiped the blood on, and that's the thing. I think that made the scene even better because then obviously like when all the gruesome stuff took place, the blood was so contrasted against everything.
Yeah, that's why they did it. I
It
think.
was so like what the fuck, just visually stunning.
Would you say then that if you say that the lighting and stuff sets the mood, would you say that the whole film had a kind of, I don't know, it didn't give like a kind of dark, depressing vibe, did it? Or
I
did
think
it?
it did, but I think it
Yeah,
did.
but
I
it-
really
Yeah, it still manages to give you like that,
Yeah.
like hopeless. I don't know.
No,
no, I agree.
it was very, I don't know, there was something positive about it, I thought.
No. I totally
Yeah.
get you because it's like that's the whole. I think that's the whole juxtaposition of the film because especially as it's midsummer, you know, you get 24 hours of daylight or almost 24 hours of daylight, and everything's so bright, and that's why it's such a strange position to be in because everyone's there's all this singing, everyone's happy, like there's no one point when you see like a cult member who's like just actively unhappy. Like everyone's like really just happy to be there doing whatever they are, but that's why it's so anxiety inducing. Like it feels wrong that such things are taking place in such a happy environment.
Mm.
Like I think that sort of did it for me. Like it also made me feel way more uncomfortable because usually, you see in horror films that daytime is sort of like a shield, like it's like a
Yeah.
place to be feeling
Be
safe.
safe. Yeah,
But
yeah,
But
definitely.
completely ruined, completely shattered.
Well, the fact that none of them were upset at all, it kind of adds to the scariness of them because they just don't feel remorse for anything they're doing, so they're just capable of doing anything because they believe it's good for the cult and they believe it will bring them good luck and stuff. So they don't give a shit about anything that they do, and yeah, they just don't have any remorse. And I thought that was really
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what I think overall this film was my favorite out of the three that I watched. I can't speak for Hereditary, but I think Hereditary probably would have been scarier in terms of like just
Yeah.
like straight up like horror.
It's more like Spencer, you were saying, yeah, like typical horror. It's a bit more
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah, slightly more mainstream perhaps, especially in
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the tone and the setting in
Like
the movie.
darkness, house, like
Yeah, that's what
haunted.
I think. That's why it's better because it's just more relatable. Like whereas Midsummer is like a festival,
Nah, I do get what you mean.
whereas
Like,
horrors are in
after
a house.
watching-
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, after watching it, you're kind of scared to.
It's funny you say that though, because technically Midsummer is a lot more realistic of the two, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
if you can imagine one actually happening, it would be Midsummer because it
Oh
does.
yeah.
does
Yeah,
actually happen. But it's funny
Right.
that that's the least scary because it's I don't know.
Because it's not relatable
Yeah.
to me. I don't think I haven't
Exactly.
experienced that sort of festival sort of vibe, of that Midsummer festival.
Do you usually feel that in order to be truly scared or to truly immersed in a horror experience that you need to find the situation or the setting somewhat relatable,
Yeah.
or you need to empathize with it?
Yeah, 100%. Otherwise, we
Is
wouldn't
that
have any
personally
feelings
different?
into it.
I disagree, like massively, but it's just interesting to hear what you say.
It's like The Lighthouse as well. Like I properly sat down and tried to get into it, and it's like I have no attachment to anything in this film. It's like I
Damn.
can't relate to any of it. So it's just
That's so weird. I like, especially The
hard for
Lighthouse.
me.
I have never been
Well-
so immersed in a film that initially seemed so like basic and just dialogue driven.
Mm.
What about Annihilation then, Spencer? Because you can't
that
relate
was,
to that.
Yeah, that was even. That's why I didn't.
Oh,
Put
you
it.
didn't like that, really?
It's just,
Really, you didn't
well, because we got left with like an unexplained sort of. That was
That's
not.
the beauty of it.
cool.
It
Cool.
it wasn't scary.
Everyone's just like,
But I just end the film with like,
scary.
what the fuck have I
it's
watched?
not
And what is
supposed
that
to be
thing?
scary.
It
Yeah.
wasn't scary. Did you watch the same film, like the bear scene, the swimming pool scene,
What are we on about?
Yeah, the bear.
Annihilation?
The bear scene. Yeah, that was not even
Yeah.
a bear, was it? I thought it was like a crossbreed, right?
That bear
Yeah,
was
you
spooky.
take that you can't like, especially given that it was literally instead of roaring, it made like echoes of the screams of the people that
Yeah.
it
Oh,
killed.
that was cool. I thought that was awesome. Yeah,
That was
That was
cool.
so
that
cool.
was sick. Yeah, I rate
Like,
that.
that whole scene where it's literally just right by their heads,
Yeah,
it's like opens
literally.
its mouth and it's just a screaming like "help me!" and they're like,
Yeah,
"What
that was
the
probably the best scene, to be fair, in that film.
That was yeah.
But
Well,
it's just some of the like the things where like dumb things that characters do in typical horror films that piss me off.
Like what? Like what?
Like, all right, so why the fuck was that woman outside? They all slept in that tower. Why did she go downstairs from the tower in like a place they have no knowledge of, right? Why do they not
What?
stay at the? One of the
what,
women.
doing lookout? She was doing lookout.
Yeah, they were on lookout
Why though?
in a
Why
military.
can you not?
Creatures.
Why can you not look out from the top of the tower, which is so much safer?
What
I
are you on about?
mean,
Is it okay?
okay.
You see what I mean?
suppose there's something
Yeah, okay,
to that.
okay. What about Midsummer, right? As soon as like 2 people go missing, I'm dipping. I'm not staying in a festival where 2 of my
But
friends
you
have
could have
gone.
tried to dip. They wouldn't have let you dip.
Oh,
Yes.
Hey, but Spencer, they didn't know that they like. You got to understand that like the whole structure of the film was that they were put to work. They like in the context of the film, Josh and Mark were only missing for like a day, and then they
No, I'm
then they
talking
were
about
like,
the first 2, like Connie and whoever's name,
Yeah,
Simon.
they didn't go missing. They got taken to the station.
Yeah, they thought they'd gone home, didn't they?
Yeah.
Mm,
So
well-
if anything, that
Yeah,
adds
but
to the
it's-
believability.
It was just the bookiness of like, oh, he left her, and even one of the characters said it. Like, Christian was like, that's a bit unusual for him to just leave her at here, and he's gone to the station. Like,
Yeah, but look, if you're in someone else, so if you're like in a foreign culture, like trying to embrace the culture, especially like if you're writing some sort of what's it called?
Thesis, yeah.
Yeah, thesis, like Josh and Christian were, you're gonna like try and embrace yourself in the cult and try and embrace the culture. And if I don't know, as soon as like nothing major went wrong, like all that happened. So you obviously had a bad experience with the Etostip, but that's part. They explain it to you, and you think, okay, this makes sense in terms of the culture. Like obviously, but you see stuff like that all the time. Like it's realistic. Different cultures, like tribes or cults, might have different ways of doing things. You got to accept it, especially if you go there. So they're like, okay. And then Connie and Simon obviously just don't like it, so they leave. Obviously, like there's a bit of commotion, but
Leave, yeah.
ultimately, but ultimately, we are shown that they are driven away to the station. So that's all that the characters know. Like that's all Christian knows. So that wouldn't surely, if you're in that situation, you wouldn't be like, right, I'm leaving. I don't know what. That's not enough.
It's the fact that he's like, oh, this is really abnormal from him, you know? Like, it's the fact that he brings up himself and he feels like a bit uncomfortable in a way. If I was in a foreign sort of environment like that and I've already just seen two people jump off a cliff, I'm on edge straight away. So anything else
Yeah.
sends me like
Yeah.
out. I'm out. Like, especially with two people that I know supposedly go to the station, but one of them leaves one behind.
Well, they don't know them. They don't know them. They met them there.
Yeah, but they come closely connected-ish in a way. You do
Not
like
really.
you sleep in the same house, you eat at the same table, like you're talking a lot.
Yeah, but they are quite kept, like you see them kept quite separate. Like there's no, there's only a couple of scenes when they are like all together as a group. Like so, there's this scene where Danny asks Connie and Simon how long they've been together,
Oh
and
yeah.
and then obviously like it's another basically just a nail in the coffin for Christian because he forgets how
Fully,
long
though.
they've been together. Like
Pretty
that's
awkward.
like so that scene wasn't to bring them close to show that they were getting close together. It was to show that Christian doesn't fucking care about Danny. Like there's no other scenes, especially even in the director's cut, where Simon and Connie are talking to the rest of the group. So I didn't feel that it was shown in the film that they were sort of bonding. Like they
No, I
were
don't
just
think they
separate
were,
people
really.
doing separate things. They had separate motivations.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, I think that's where I lack like jumping into the character shoes. Where if I was actually like thinking, I'd just think of my perspective rather than like the character's perspective. So
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it's all about it's all subjective, isn't it? So like, if that's how you see it. That's fair enough.
yeah, but obviously,
Maybe you would run away in maybe you would like escape if you were in those shoes. I can't like tell you what you would do, would you? Can I? So
no,
it's
fair enough. Oh, I wouldn't even know what I'd do until I was in there, like into that
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It's just a
But
sense of annihilation as well, where like the bear scene was cool, but it's just I don't like
What?
how it was just left unanswered. You know, I sort of like I like
It
to
didn't-
know the answer.
How was it left unanswered?
Unless I can't
Like
answer.
what was that thing? Like
It
they
was
just
a-
say an alien.
Yes.
Altered because of the bubble.
Yeah, but what do they want?
Wait, what are you talking about? The human form at the end?
Yeah,
Or
and
the
just the
bear?
whole
Copied Lena.
the whole thing, the whole like ending of it, right? She just like
Yeah. So they
Makes it-
found. So that's the alien, right? So that's the like center of the alien. But that's the beauty of it. Like it's so abstract. Like
Yeah,
usually
like
in a
who did?
film, it's so straightforward. Just be like, oh, the alien's a creature, by the way, and the creature looks like this, and it's evil and wants to kill you. Like, how boring is that? Like in real, like this is why I like it. It's kind of realistic in a way because if there is alien life, the probability that it sort of aligns to our understandings, our rules of nature, and our rules of organisms is so unlikely. The fact that it's just this
Yeah.
abstract moving shape that takes in DNA and then replicates it
That's so
to its best
cool.
manner
Yeah.
is so cool. I
yeah,
love it.
The idea of it is sick, but it's just like I want to like there has to be like another one just to like see the background and origin of it. That's what I miss out. I feel.
No,
That's one that
ruins the mystery. That ruins it.
Unexplained like that. It makes it a mindfuck because it leaves you wondering what was going on and why that happened. And
You want to be thinking about it a bit afterwards, don't you? You don't want to have it handed to you.
if they don't give you the full story, you're left to kind of piece together it for yourself, and you think about it for ages after, and that's what
Or
makes
have your own interpretation of what happened.
Yeah, like you never really know what happened at the end, whether they were themselves or they were the replicates.
Yeah.
And I like that. I thought that was cool. I thought
That
he
was
was
so cool, actually.
but I wasn't
No,
sure about.
they were both. I reckon they're both replicas. Don't
Really?
we
Yeah.
think?
I don't think so.
I only
I
thought the
didn't-
guy was.
Oh shit.
I think the guy was a replica, but she was not a replica. But I think her DNA had been mutated.
I think that's what I got from it. because we saw him kill himself, so he's
Yeah.
definitely born. Like that was
And obviously, they had the whole scene in the beginning of the film, which was out of context until you see the end. But you know, where he's acting super weird, he
Yeah.
doesn't know who she is, and then he bleeds. So like, obviously, he's had some. He's like, because you know, it's just an alien trying to copy the DNA. Like, it's not going to
Mm.
fully understand how to like survive in the climate that we have, and
Yeah.
especially when it travels outside the shimmer. Like, it doesn't know anything but the shimmer, so the zone of mutation. So it would
Yeah.
it would make sense that outside of it, it would start to like die or break down, maybe.
What I found about that one though is I didn't really think of it as a horror film. Would you say that was like a
Was it
cosmic
even meant to be a horror film? Like,
No,
'cause-
I don't. I only say it's a horror film because it's got horror elements. Like,
Right. It's classed as one on Netflix.
Yeah,
saw
it
I
it
mean,
was,
yeah,
yeah.
Netflix does like they give like each film like 8 genres though, so it's
yeah,
more
they do.
I thought it was a lot more of a kind of sci-fi rather than
Yeah.
a cosmic horror or something. But
it was definitely like it was. I'd say it's like a psychological like thriller sci-fi. It's like maybe not less of a thriller, but it's obviously like trying to, you know, it's not straightforward sci-fi film. Like it's got very deeply,
as well.
yeah, it's got very deeply embedded human theological themes, and it's got very like it's got a lot of deeper meaning to read into, and it's got a lot of different themes and a lot of different sort of genre tropes that play throughout the whole film. So I don't think it can be sort of assigned. It's a weird one, but the only one I'd concretely say is sci-fi.
Yeah, sci-fi adventure. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's like an adventure
Yeah,
through the
kind of.
shimmer, wasn't it?
Okay, I guess so. But I would say I'd be less inclined to say adventure because that makes it sound like a kids' film and sort of diminishes it a bit.
Alright.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a really cool film though. You guys all no, Spencer, you didn't like it, did you?
It was above.
I don't get how you didn't
no,
like
no.
it.
Well, it was in the middle. Like it was in the middle. If I'm just judging it off 3, it's number 2. Like Lighthouse for me was bottom, and then it'll be Annihilation, then Midsummer. It's like meh. I enjoyed certain aspects of the film.
Everyone, yeah.
I quite enjoyed like the fact that the idea of the alien, and I enjoyed the bear scene that was sick.
Yeah.
And the whole film is like beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks really nice. Yeah.
It was so beautiful the way they showed all the mutations of all the nature and everything and the animals. I love the scene with the 2
The deer.
yeah, I just thought it was
Oh
so
my god, yeah.
That's the
Nah,
thing though. Like
legit.
I loved it because it wasn't. I like that nothing. Everything's ambiguous in the film. Like there's nothing. So even when they show horrible things, it's not like concretely horrible. Like everything is kind of like, does it mean this or does it mean that? Like
kind of
there's
twist.
the whole. Exactly, like the bear is obviously like a horror. It's a violent part of this mutation, this distortion. But then you see stuff like the deer, and then you know the deer
Yeah.
in unison, like jumping away, and you think, oh, okay, the beauty of it. It's like it's sort of like this. I feel like it sort of mirrors these themes of Mother Nature and how it can sort
Yeah,
of
definitely.
be 2 very different sides. Like it's brutal and very violent, but at the same time, it's just like majestic, and it's just sort of a visual. And it's just like something you can enjoy visually.
And you never really knew what sort of mutation would come up, and which I guess a little bit has a bit of horror theme in it because you don't know what to expect. You're always on edge because it's either going to be something amazing and beautiful or something horrific and twisted.
Yeah, that's the thing. So like, I mean, literally, like, so you think in a normal film, right? They might present the mutation as like. So it might be something that affects humans in this one binary way, right? So it might make them like zombies. So that's what a lot of films do, that kind of thing. So like, all right, so there's this mutation, it makes people zombies, blah blah blah. In this film, the first way we saw it was the scene that they like the camcord play thing that they come across.
Oh, that was cool as well.
Where her
actually,
husband was. So
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
swimming pool with a soldier, and then that horrible scene where they like see his intestines moving. You think, what the fuck?
Was that his intestines?
No, I thought it was a worm.
Yeah.
I thought it was
No, it's intestines. It's his
And
intestines.
they've like mutated.
Yeah,
isn't
yeah.
it?
It's like
That
That's
was
the thing,
cool.
so-
That was cool.
that's what I mean. So like that's one of the human mutations, but obviously they come across that like what used to be a village, and everyone is mutated into plants, and it's
Yeah.
like it was nothing was concrete. That's what I liked about it. Everything was really ambiguous and really like out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the explanation was so cool about like the diffraction how like
Yeah.
everything diffracts. Like there's rainbows everywhere because of the light, and then like the
Yeah,
DNA.
Hmm. And how like all the plant structures were copying the human DNA, and so I never really knew whether the plants were once human.
Yeah, I didn't really
Yes,
get that.
yes,
but
They were, weren't they?
yeah,
Yeah.
because that's why they. So
That
the
woman turned into one.
biologist.
yeah,
Yeah,
did
so
that
Tessa
woman?
Thompson,
Did she?
yeah.
Yeah, she did.
But that
But
was the thing. So like, it was this whole theme of the. Okay, I don't know. I'm getting into kind of like a bigger thing because like, obviously one of the biggest themes of the film was self-destruction, right?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
everyone, if you know, I don't know if you guys have noticed it or like read anything about it, but I read this thing that basically explained that every member of the expedition was carrying out some form of self-destruction, right?
Yeah.
So Lena's form of self-destruction was the way that she ruined her life by cheating on her husband, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the biologist's form of self-destruction was the depression that she suffered,
Mhm.
and then accepting the mutation, and then obviously like it accelerated, and she sort of just became one with the plant and with the shimmer, that kind of thing. And then
Yeah.
obviously there was the lead expedition, so the doctor who we found out has cancer, so she's just sort of her self-destruction is the cancer, and then she just decides to sort of go into the shimmer as like this last hope, like all she wants to do is find out what's at the center. And then there's the woman who says that she loses her child and she doesn't care anymore, like that kind of thing.
Oh right, yeah.
So everyone's got their
Yeah.
own form of self-destruction, and it's
Yeah.
all like it's all shown in these different ways, and that's what I really liked about it as well. Like it's
It's
very
just
clear.
how they all entered it was literally without a second thought. Like they just crossed over to the barrier of the shimmer. Like they all just walked in, and they knew
Yeah.
that no one else ever really come out of that,
Yeah.
and they just like didn't care.
All their lives were already so ruined already that they
Yeah.
were caring
Like,
at that
none of them had much to lose, I guess.
Yeah, literally. But that's why I liked it. Like it was
Cool.
I don't know, it was kind of it was like a unique thing, but then it's something that you don't really notice unless you sort of really pay attention to the way that the characters are built. Like, but yeah, I think especially Lena's story was really, really interesting because she had
Yeah.
this whole like moral struggle where she felt so bad for cheating. It was hard to work out on the first viewing, I think.
It was, yeah, to be honest, I wasn't like completely clear on what occurred.
Yeah, I didn't understand for most of the film that she was a cheat. I thought
Yeah,
that
neither.
he was just making moves and she was going like, go
Yeah.
away.
No.
And he was saying, oh, you can move on now because he's basically dead.
Yeah.
But I realised that
Yeah.
before he'd even left, they'd
Yeah, it was really confusing.
Yeah, no, so I think the chronology of it is basically that so her husband was obviously in the military just like before the shimmer even existed. And then he went out on a tour. She cheated on him because he was gone for quite a while. So she cheated on him with her co-worker or whatever. And then he came back. She acted like everything was fine. And then he obviously one day, for whatever reason, found out, because then they have the whole scene where he sat on the bed and she's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm going." And she's like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm going on a tour. Don't know when I'm back." And then obviously she doesn't know the time, but she later finds out that that tour was the expedition into the shimmer. And
What? So
then
he thought he knew. That's why he went into the shimmer.
yeah,
Then?
that's why he was like, that was his form of self-destruction. Like he found out she was cheating and he just didn't care and he wanted to. So like he'd obviously like been mulling it over, and then when he found out, he was like, "Fuck it, don't care anymore."
I never really knew why he'd done that when he had a wife who like loved him.
Yeah.
I was confused why he'd done that, but that would make sense that he'd actually realised what had happened.
Yeah, exactly. Because they have that whole scene where she's with the guy she's cheating with, and then she's like, "Oh, it's got to stop. I think he knows." And then obviously they play the scene where he's like, "I'm leaving."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and then obviously he comes back and she's like, "What the fuck?" and doesn't know sort of what to feel. She's probably like.
That's what I had to do. Karen, I had to do a dab. Karen.
That's it.
Dom paid 500. I had to.
Typical scene.
Oh dear.
How'd you do that?
You just pay me. But yeah,
What, genuine money?
nah. Like it's like Twitch money. But
Funny.
talking about this now, I think there's a similar theme where in Midsummer, how she had nothing to.
Yeah.
She had
okay.
she had nothing to lose, right? So like it's the same with this, where Yeah,
Disagree.
she had
everything
no-
to lose.
Why? She
Yeah, she
literally,
didn't.
Fragile.
she's just lost
was
her whole
fragile.
family. She doesn't give a fuck. Like,
Yeah, but
Yeah,
back
no,
at
she does give
home,
a fuck. She does give a fuck.
why?
She's so fragile. It's completely different because I think she's really fragile. She's got her boyfriend who she's like clearly trying to like. It's clearly a strained relationship, and she clearly suffers from his bad treatment of her. But she still like holds on to it. For example, like when so it's her birthday. She doesn't say a single thing, and
Mm.
then he forgets, and then Pele tells him, and then he comes out with a shit birthday cake, and he's like, "Oh,
mate,
happy
that was
birthday!"
the worst, most
Oh, yeah, that was
Literally.
laughable.
And then she's
Fuck
like,
me.
"Oh, it's fine." She's like, "Oh, it's fine." Like she doesn't even care. Because
Oh,
she's like trying to cling to that
makes
relationship.
it cringe. Yeah,
Take anything to salvage it.
Yeah.
yeah,
But then I think that's like, so that's what I mean. Like I think she's so desperate to. I get what you mean, and I
Mhm.
think to some degree you are right. Like she obviously is. Yeah, she needs something close, and that's
Yeah.
why.
yeah.
That's why the cult appeals to her. Like they accept her so readily, and then she's obviously like taken into it, becomes the May Queen, feels really special, and she's like, "All right, cool. This is it. This is my calling."
It's for me. It's just the fact that she doesn't really blink an eye to kill the boyfriend to start a new life because she literally has nothing to lose. Like she doesn't give a fuck about him. Like,
But she
Like,
did
in
so much.
huh? What'd you
Think
say?
about like all she goes through throughout the film.
Do you think it's because she cares about him too much and he's like her last connection to the outside world? She decides to.
It's like when she has that choice to get rid of him and join a new family, she's like, yeah, whatever.
She's not like, yeah, whatever. Like you can see that she's in pain.
Painful decision. I thought she had to force herself to do it in order to move on and get rid of him
Yeah.
in a hot, savage way. But
yeah.
But it's also the fact that she was on drugs, right? She wasn't sober at that point.
No, she
No.
was. I don't think it wasn't implied
Yeah,
that
but-
she was like drunk at that point.
No, I
right?
thought she drunk the tea, right?
Yeah,
she
yeah.
was, but I think it was I think
It's
she
not like
consciously did make this decision.
Yeah, 100%.
like her intentions would have still been the same. Like,
Yeah, I agree. I think there's no like ill effects from the drugs. Like it was just the whole
Yeah.
parade. Like, you know, she'd just seen him cheating on her, like blatantly.
Oh yeah, and
Like,
that's
she
like the final
watched
straw. That's
it.
like the final straw. I
Yeah,
think that's like the
like-
final straw.
I mean, you know, I wouldn't. I'm not like sympathetic of Christian at all. I understand Danny's like motivations, and it's not like it's not. So in some horror films, you know, when they turn on each other, it's just like this whole, oh, I was evil from the start, or like this character's a dick. So when they get a chance to kill someone else, they will. It's like she's gradually worn down. She clings to it. He pushes her away.
yeah.
And then the final straw is him cheating. She sees it. She's
Well.
accepted by someone else, and she's like, "Fuck you, then."
But at the same time, isn't it
Yeah.
kind of horrifying, the kind of whole concept that we come to sympathise with Danny
Yeah,
and think what she did is right? But
yeah, 100%.
think about it logically, you can't just kill someone because they cheated on you, and we shouldn't
It's
be
like,
sympathising with her.
even
Really,
we become just immersed in the cult lifestyle.
Yeah, exactly,
through
like, you-
watching it.
It's
all in the same way it took her in.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah, 100%. I think so.
Yeah, she's just numb to death at that point. Like she's seen so many deaths already. She's like, whatever, another death doesn't matter. You won't really see it
Mm.
from far away as well.
And she's just sort of like more sort of like, because obviously she's just been experiencing such good things from the people there. You know, she's had no sort of outside input. So I just think to her like that seemed like I just everything lined up. Like she had the whole power trip. She was the May Queen. Just everything was in the
Yeah.
in the right place. And even though we know it's wrong, in the moment and in the context, as the audience, you can't help but back her.
Absolutely, yeah.
Crazy.
But yeah, was there any bit in Annihilation, Spencer, which you enjoyed?
Yeah, I told you that. Yeah. So it's the actual whole idea of the film I think was cool. But it's just like an average film. It wasn't like yo, and it wasn't like shit. It's just like bang average, like 7 out of 10, like 6, 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10 is not average.
I mean, if you look
By
at the box office,
by
like
the very definition of stats and maths, 5 out of 10 is average.
okay, a little bit above average, 6 out of 10. We'll go
6.
6.
Okay.
I mean, even if you look at the box office and stuff, like even look at numbers like that, they actually made a loss in this film, which is nuts. I mean,
Shit, swear.
yeah.
Oh,
Because it pretty much went straight to
Which is already a bad sign. Like if
Oh.
it didn't
I
even
mean,
make
it did.
the,
It
which,
didn't. Like it did go in the cinema, but it was
Mate.
not widespread release.
yeah, is that not a bad sign already? That's not going to be.
That's
I guess it's
not-
not accepted in main media, right? Is that sort of like?
I don't know, mate. I think it had It didn't have
Mm.
like amazing publication. It didn't have really great advertising. It probably didn't have like a massive backing and budget from the studio. Like I think it was just
The
like
the budget was like
a
40
risk.
mil. Like, that's a big budget for a film.
It's a big budget, but it's not like it's not a tentpole like
Yeah.
Hollywood blockbuster.
Yeah.
Like
True. It
I agree. Like so, how much? Wait, what was the box office revenue?
was like 43 mil, but then the budget is like 40 to 55 mil, so it's a bit like.
I mean, okay, so look, if you put it this way, so the director Alex Garland had only directed, I think, before this, Ex Machina, which is another film I fucking love.
Oh, apparently that's really good. Yeah.
Really
I've been
Amazing.
meaning to watch that. Yeah.
Yeah, Veer was gassing about it. Massively thumbs up that film.
Mm.
It was a really, really good film. I don't know how well it did in the box office.
It's pretty well known. You would have thought it'd do quite well.
See, that only got 36 million in the box office.
What was his budget?
15.
So it still doubled its profits, or doubled.
That's what I mean. Like, I think it is like, it's just one of these things. So what was the production company? Yeah, that's what I mean. So like, it's Film 4. It's an indie British film production company. They're like, it's obviously a film that a bigger production company didn't want to take a risk on. I'm talking about Ex Machina right now in this context. Alex Garland, it was like I think it was his directorial debut. Let me check. For a film. Oh, never mind. Oh, wait, yeah, directorial debut. Yeah. So he'd been a writer in other films. He was a writer for 28 Days Later. That's mad. I did not know that. What the fuck? That's sick. But yeah, sorry. So like, obviously, someone having a directorial debut, that's already a risk. And then coming with an idea like this, like, for a fact when you say like, okay, mind-bending sci-fi horror film, it's not gonna make bank. Like,
Yeah,
But
you're
then
right,
you'd
you're right.
argue, why has he been giving minimum 40 mil to play with then? That's a big budget, mate. That's like massive.
That's not nowadays. It's not. Like, it's a
I
big
thi-
budget
yeah,
in terms of
if-
in terms of
Yeah, that's
indie
what I mean. Like
budget.
indie development, I feel that's quite big. Like that's on the higher end of the spectrum.
I mean,
He's probably making a lot of money from Netflix, though, surely, right?
yeah. Netflix. I don't think Netflix is counted into it.
Yeah, definitely
No.
not. No, this is just box office.
It would have surely exceeded the budget. Like,
Yeah, by now
Yeah.
it would have. Yeah, I
But
reckon.
also, you got to remember that the budget doesn't actually, when even if they break even, then the film studio is still probably losing money.
True.
There's lots of things that go into like the hiring of sets and the employment of people and the advertisement, which isn't attributed into budget. So you can never sort of say that anything breaks even unless you know the ins and outs of the particular film. But
I can't really
still,
judge a film of that. I'm just getting like a little gauge of like the interest of like the whole public, because
Yeah.
obviously I can say my experience of the film, but in terms of like the wide mass public, is like I just think it was like an average film, It didn't
like,
like
it's kind of crazy to me though. You bring up a good point. Like, it seemed like Ex Machina, man. Are you mad? Like, it's a sci-fi film. That's not like a massive turn-off. It's got Domhnall Gleeson, Alicia Vikander, and Oscar Isaac. That's a crazy cast. Like, I don't understand.
How did they get them with such a small indie studio?
It's A24. It's A24 distributed and Film 4 produced. Like, so A24 is one of my absolute favorite production companies. I fucking love
Yeah,
them.
they're banging.
Film
Yeah.
4 are really good as well, actually. But like, yeah, I don't know. Because it's like, it depends on the actor, doesn't it? Because a lot of actors would turn down indie jobs just because they don't pay enough. But then the ones who sort of more care about the actual like art and the content are more like
Yeah.
likely to take the lower paid jobs. And that's what I love about this. Like, so Oscar Isaac and Domhnall Gleeson, obviously, like, they're not going for a paycheck. They're trying to make a good piece of film.
But
Yeah.
Even
this
though
is also
Oscar Isaac
ages ago, right?
big actor. No, 2014.
That's 6-7 years ago. Like they'd film it in
Quite a
2013,
long.
so they weren't as big, right? They wouldn't have been as big back then.
I mean, okay, yeah, sure. I guess it was before The Force Awakens, but I still
I was
think
gonna say I don't even know who the fuck Domhnall Gleeson is.
you
And
do.
you scroll down, he's in
do.
fucking Star Wars, like The Rise of Skywalker.
No, I was talking about Oscar Isaac for Star Wars.
Oh,
huge.
Domhnall Gleeson's in Star Wars as well. He's General Hux.
Yeah, but he didn't have a main role. But like, Domhnall Gleeson's in Black Mirror. He's in About Time. He's
Yeah,
in
Harry
all
Potter.
Yeah, he's in all sorts of stuff.
Was he in Harry Potter?
He's a huge British.
Yeah, was he in
he's
Harry
the
Potter?
oldest Weasley
Brother.
brother.
Is he?
Yeah.
Mary's Potter.
Oh yeah, Bill Weasley.
Yeah, that's one.
Bill,
So he's
oh, Bill
he's so he's a great actor and he's in so many things. Like but he's like he's one of those that doesn't delve outside. He didn't delve outside the British sort of like
Film.
production for a long time. Like obviously, Ex Machina was like probably I don't know actually not now I've said that like I haven't looked at his filmography, but I don't remember seeing him in doing like too many like American based roles. But obviously, like he played an American in this, and
Mm.
it was believable.
He's in
And he was
Peter
good at
Rabbit, bro.
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. A24 is such a cool studio kind of company thing. They did it because they did The Lighthouse as well, didn't they?
Oh yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did.
The Lighthouse.
And they did. So obviously, Robert Eggers directed The Witch, which was
Oh
also,
yeah,
No, I want to watch that. I really want to watch that.
which I also love.
that is good film.
Have you watched it?
Yeah.
Fucking cracking film. But yeah, I don't know. I think The Lighthouse was even better than The Witch for me. Like it was. Oh. I don't know.
You loved it,
I can
though.
see Spencer's
No,
face.
I'm like me and me talked about this before. Like I'm open.
About it because I'm
Yeah.
open to interpretations because I watched it today. I don't know what I really think of it. You know, it's kind of
I think there's so much to talk about. Like
Yeah.
I just.
So can you talk about it a bit and then
Yeah, sure. I mean,
Raw,
want me to talk
fam.
about the
You can
themes,
talk
or
about
do you
it.
want me to talk about like just like the surface level
Uh,
themes or the deeper themes or the meanings
well,
that you could draw from it?
Can I just give you like my view on it, and then you can go off that?
Go for
This is
it.
gonna be
bro.
base level view. I feel like it's gonna. 'Cause
Yeah,
obviously.
I bet.
Yeah. All right. So, I'll be, I'll be honest. Like, as soon as the film's black and white, I'm already a bit like, right, okay, I'm gonna have to give a little bit more attention to it to like
Where's
get
the
into it.
Avengers?
Yeah,
Where's
pretty
the
much. One thing I did like about it was the acting from those two guys was fucking sick. Like they did that.
Yeah.
They killed it.
and then
They were really good in the roles that they played. For me, this is like a film that would appeal to like Dylan. Like he'd love this sort of like rural, crazy.
Rural?
Yeah, like
White House.
yeah, in the middle of nowhere. Like where the fuck are they? Like in
I'm
some.
not sure you said. It's not like a field in England, is it?
Rural equals farm.
All right, not rural. What's the word? Like isolated.
Yeah.
Mm.
Isolated.
Isolated on an island, a New England island in 1890s.
Yeah.
1890s,
I like-
is it?
Yeah,
Yep.
and that's why it's in black and white, which makes sense. It's cool.
I mean, it's not white. It's in black and white.
it was.
Huh?
I couldn't tell what era it was meant to be because it was. I kind of felt a bit timeless. Like it could have been at any time. I thought because they didn't have technology on that island or anything, but you wouldn't, would you?
True. I mean, I feel like you could have guessed it as like not after
Yeah,
World War
it-
Two. There's
Yeah,
no way
it
it'd be
felt
after World War Two.
end of the It felt like end of 1800s, beginning of 1900s to me. Like I couldn't pin it exactly, but yeah.
It's just I liked how the characters. You could obviously see they progressively got more insane. I mean, who wouldn't on an island like that? Like just two of you, like nothing really to do apart from fish and like maintain the lighthouse, whatever.
Well, they,
Some
don't really fish, do they?
well, they get their lobster pops, right?
Okay, I
Is that
guess
correct?
so.
Yeah. The things that really confused me were the statue that he has and the fact that he was like wanking loads. The whole idea of the light, which I really don't understand, and obviously the ending of the film.
I'll explain the light to you. I'll
Okay.
explain the light
And
to
then
you. That's the biggest theme.
and also, was it the dreams that he was having? So with like the mermaid,
Kind of-
Yeah.
were they all
kind of-
dreams, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say it's up to interpretation, but it felt a lot more like a kind of fever, sort of going insane and starting to visualize things that weren't there. I thought he was he found this mermaid that I think had belonged to the previous guy that lived there, and he died. He went insane as well and died. It was kind of like he was following the same trajectory and starting to envision all these things that weren't there and going a bit nuts with that.
Yeah, agreed.
I wasn't sure whether the old Tom, killed the previous man.
Yeah, I didn't understand that either.
I was looking into theories. Some people think that the one-eyed bird was a reincarnation of the
Yeah.
previous man who lives on the island. He was trying to warn him to leave the island
Yeah.
and
That's-
get away from the old Tom.
That adds up because because he says so Sorry, I think if you because it's easier to call them. I think because I forgot their names.
It's just
Yeah,
Tom.
so Ephraim is the old one, and then
It-
Thomas is the younger one.
Well, they're both called Tom.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
oh
One,
wait, no, sorry. So Ephraim is the young one. Ephraim
Robert
is
Pattinson.
not. Yeah, so he's.
That's what he calls himself at the start, but that's not his real name.
Yeah, his real
No, I
name's
know.
Tom, isn't it?
Yeah, no,
As
I
well.
know, I know, but like, obviously, like, it's not. It's just easier instead of saying Tom.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. Yeah. So obviously, wait, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so old Tom was saying how so he like warned to him, right? The seagulls are the souls of old sailors,
Mm.
and he's
Oh
obviously
yeah.
like
Yeah.
stay away from them, don't touch them. Like he obviously holds some sort of symbolic or emotional attachment to them. That
Yep.
he wants younger Thomas to stay away. So I feel like that's like a kind of believable thing, especially as like otherwise, like what was the inclusion of the scene where he kills the bird for? Like
That was a really brutal scene.
Yeah,
It
that
was
was
kind
vile.
of jarring, wasn't it? The way
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah, I thought that was interesting. I like the fact throughout the film you could never really tell which one was more insane and which one was making stuff up, because the older guy would say to the younger one, "Oh, you were chasing me round with an axe," but we just saw the opposite happen. Anyone remember this?
Yeah. Well, I remember it. Yeah.
Is he tricking him, or is it the younger one just imagining things?
But,
wait, which part? Sorry.
towards the end, wasn't it?
Huh?
It was towards the
What
end of the
part?
film.
Yeah, what?
Towards the
Sorry.
end, so the old guy is chasing around the younger one with an axe and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Kill him, and then he says to Martha, "Oh, you were trying to kill me, like
Yeah.
you were trying to kill me, like you're imagining stuff." And it was really unclear which one was actually trying to kill the other one.
Yeah.
It's all a bit mooky.
It
It's
is
still
very ambiguous. But that's, I mean, Robert Eggers said that he wants it to be like he said he wants it to be ambiguous. Like said he wants people to ask questions, and he doesn't want it to be like straightforward. Like that's what they want. So it's he says that he wrote in a lot of stuff that sort of was either like red herrings or was like really really vital to the story. So like stuff like bad luck to kill a seabird, you know, I think it's quite an important line, given that there's that scene where the young Thomas kills the seabird and then it stains their water supply, doesn't it? Like
with
it
blood.
dies in the water supply, and you just think, okay, well that's symbolic, like very clearly. And then there's the whole thing like, why do you spill your beans? That like
Yeah.
That was
that's obviously quite big.
I
Yeah.
love it. I was like, hold on, I have to replay that. What's going on? Because I was a bit confused, like what he's doing, and then I was like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah, so
didn't-
it's all about sort of like, I think it is just fundamentally about two guys going crazy on a rock. Like it is just about the psychological torture and the effects of it, and like obviously like there's massive themes of like homoeroticism like throughout the whole film.
I wasn't
Like there's
sure.
this mounting tension.
A little bit gay, like
Not a
yeah,
little bit. Like
but
there's bits when older Thomas like literally says, "Oh, you've got like," he says when like, "You got pretty eyes like a woman."
yeah.
Yeah,
woman.
that's like very, very clear, and they have that moment obviously where they almost kiss, and it's just like they dance together, and they like it's all about like, I think it's just sort of exploring. I don't think it's meant to just like be as blunt as, oh, they're gay and they're hiding it. Like I think it's way more in terms of like exploring sexuality in like a really isolated situation, if you get me.
Yeah.
Like because it's nothing to particular about like, oh, they're two guys and they're both gay, or they're two guys and they might be gay. It's just
Some people thought it might
what
be
happens.
playing on kind of themes of repressed homosexuality around that
That's
sort of
too straightforward. I think that's too straightforward. I don't think it's about that. I think to say that would just be kind of silly, because then it's just like what's the point? Like there's no real social commentary. Everyone knows that back then being gay wasn't the thing. Like being gay wasn't accepted. Like Robert Eggers, I know that he's a smart writer. You could tell from the film and from The Witch as well that he's not some sort of like straightforward writer. He sort of writes the deeper themes and the deeper meanings into the film, so that we need to really think about it. But I really just highly doubt that he would write it so it's like, oh, okay, look, they almost kiss because they're gay and they're suppressing it. Like I just don't, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't
Very
make sense to me.
I thought the best scene was when he was giving the speech, because
About
the young
Neptune's
one
wrath.
didn't like his crabs.
Yeah.
And then he
No,
gave
no,
his,
no. You're fond of a lobster.
yeah, that's it. And then he's given a speech, and because of the black and white, it really made it quite haunting because of all the shadows on his face, and then the
Yeah.
white eyes were really standing out. And I thought in moments like that, that's when the black and white was really, I thought that's quite important in kind of setting
Yeah.
the tone and making it kind of dark and chilling and stuff. So it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Spencer, you wanna learn more about the light? I could talk to you about that.
Yeah, tell me some more about the light, please. I'm intrigued.
Well, so like one thing that a lot of people have been talked about. So obviously, like Egger's literally put no input into this because he doesn't want to. But something that a lot of people have talked about is this whole idea that it's reflective of the idea of Prometheus.
Yeah, at the end especially.
So the
What,
whole
the film
thing is the
Prometheus.
young.
No,
So Prometheus stole fire from the gods. The old Greek.
I
the Greek
don't know any of that about Greek mythology.
cliff and make the birds eat him.
Yeah, so the whole story is basically Prometheus was, I think it's just a man, right?
No, he was a demigod or something.
A
wasn't
man or
he?
a demigod or so, whatever. It is not really important, but basically he like he wanted to sort of give something to humans to help them, and the gods were was like keeping all these things for themselves, right? They weren't sharing anything to help mankind. So Prometheus stole the invention of fire from the gods and gave it to mankind, and then for that he was punished. He was strapped to or chained to a rock, and then like vultures or whatever it was were picked at his insides for like every day for like forever. Like he was cursed to like never die but constantly be tortured.
Okay.
So the whole idea is that young Thomas is Prometheus, and there's obviously like one of the huge things through the film is that old Thomas has this like covetous relationship with the lighthouse, where he doesn't let young Thomas like do any duties to do with the lighthouse. He doesn't let him like interact with it at all. And then it becomes this whole thing where the younger Thomas becomes just more and more curious and more invested in this like secret. He thinks like, is there something up there that he's just keeping from me? Is there a deeper meaning? Like, is there more to it than I know? So towards the end, like he's acting as Prometheus, and the lighthouse is the fire. So like in the end of the film, when he goes and he just sort of like sees the light, and they have that really sick shot from the perspective of the light where he's like screaming and just like burning or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like there's a whole distortion bit, and then you can just see him like obviously suffering.
Mm,
Like there's this whole sort of like, yeah, it's like this embracing this like newfound godlike knowledge. Like it's just sort of like this overwhelming knowledge that he's got to sort of embrace almost, and then he falls down the stairs and then ends up out on the rocks being picked at by the seabirds.
Yeah, that would make sense actually, because it's almost like a fall from the gods, like from Olympus
exactly
down to Okay, that makes sense. That's cool. Yeah.
So I think I think that's like one of the just like the biggest things. But obviously there's so much. I mean, there's so much to think about. Like, literally, I every time you watch it, you just read more into it. Like,
again, knowing now more about it and being able to see more of the themes and stuff, I think it would be more interesting every time you watch it.
Yeah.
You understand more of it and what's going on.
Yeah. I think especially like the mermaid is just sort of like this attributed theme to like, so obviously there's the whole this whole eroticism and homoeroticism is quite poignant throughout the film, and there's the scene where he finds the idol, and it's not entirely strange that he's clinging on to something that he finds arousing so that he can sort of like finally have some sort of release, because he's constantly being sort of like, so the older Thomas is basically just exhibiting like toxic masculinity. Like he's forcing younger Thomas to do all the shit jobs, and he's saying, do it again. He's making him wash the floors, making him make the dinner. Like he's telling him what to do, basically keeping him doing the menial tasks and not letting him anywhere near the lighthouse. So younger Thomas is like, having this built up anger and frustration and emotion, which he lets out in that really aggressive scene in like the hut or whatever it is when
Towards
he
the
finds
end,
the
yeah.
idol. No, the aggressive scene with the
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
first one.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where he drops his breeches and lets one go, and then
When the images are flashing between. Oh no, that's a different one. Sorry.
I think that's later on. But then
Yeah.
obviously like that relief. So the relief from this sort of isolation and oppression and craziness that he experiences throughout his stay on the island is sort of alleviated during these moments. He has this sort of moment of obviously like ecstasy where he's actually feeling something good, and then it comes to him in his dreams and he's like dreaming about this real mermaid, and then it becomes like, obviously I think that's just more playing towards this whole theme of people going crazy on a rock, because that's what happens. Like, he starts dreaming that this mermaid is real. And obviously there's the mermaid scene with the real thing where he he goes on the beach and finds the mermaid and he fucks that thing.
It's grim.
It is, but it's like, I don't know. It's a bit of a wild one.
I didn't particularly like the scene where he was going out to see what old
lag
guy does, and there's some bits dripping down, and it was really uncomfortable, and I wasn't quite sure what that was.
Oh yeah, what was
about
that?
I don't.
Yeah,
let's not read into it.
Was that the old man jerking off?
Yeah, I think so. It was all really strange.
But like he was still going when like stuff was dripping off, Like it was like he finished, but it kept on going. I was like, okay, mate, someone's a bit keen.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of unsettling kind of things like that throughout. Very on edge.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. For me, it's just still at the bottom. Like, in terms of ideas as well, like Finn even dumbed it down. Like, it's just two men on a rock. It's like just two men. There's literally a cast of three, including the mermaid, just carrying the film.
Yeah, but even when you put it in such blunt terms, you can't deny that the film is enjoyable. Like the dynamic, the acting, and the characters that you see sort of unravel, and then the story that you've got to try and like decipher
Put
from
together,
what
yeah.
sort of visual intimate information that you're given. In that in itself, if you didn't want to read into the deeper meanings, I'd still say that that's an extremely enjoyable film.
Yeah, it's mainly because the acting was so good. Like that was insanely good.
Well, you want it.
acting-wise.
Well, you want it to be, wouldn't you? When
You'd
it's
have
like,
to be. If
literally
it's
just
two,
about two guys on a
yeah,
rock.
you'd have to have good actors for that. That's why
Yeah,
they chose
100%.
Green Goblin and fucking Twilight Star.
Oh, don't refer to him as that. That's so
He's
sad.
so much better than that.
He's been trying to get rid of that for
Yeah.
ages.
Oh, he,
Poor guy.
Harry Potter as
hates-
well. He's good.
I mean,
Yeah.
what about his actual good films like Good Time?
I haven't watched that.
Watch it. It's on Netflix.
I'm looking forward to seeing him in Tenet and Batman. He'll be good in them, I think.
Well, he's in Batman.
He's
Yeah,
going
he is Batman.
Batman.
He is Batman.
Yes.
He's gonna be, yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Well,
No way.
Yeah.
Another
It's been-
Batman
obviously
film.
It's been postponed. You've
yeah.
not seen the set photos.
2021 is when it's meant to be coming out now.
I'm on it now. Yeah, it looks cool.
Something Matt Reeves. I think it's Matt Reeves, the director.
Why are they doing another? Is it just the same again? Like the initial Batman, like the whole
It's meant to
story.
be a darker and less sanitized version, remember?
Less
You might have
sanity.
seen the memes. It's like the new Bat will be raw and less
Oh
sanitized.
my god, yeah.
I love a raw bat.
Exactly.
Yeah,
well.
Lighthouse for me was just one film I didn't watch though was Hereditary. Obviously, I can't really speak on behalf of that, but from an outside perspective, trailer-wise, it looks like a proper like horror for me.
Yeah, I think if you would like it, if that's more what you're looking for, Spencer.
Yeah, it's more traditional.
It's not what I'm looking for. It's just like
Well,
a horror for
what you
me.
want
Yeah, it's like to be scared, and that would actually probably
Yeah,
make me
yeah,
scared.
Mate, it does make you a bit scared, to be fair.
So
It is way more traditional. Like, it's got a few jump scares, but obviously a lot less than
Not-
your average
yeah.
Insidious film. But it's
Exactly.
really, really good. Like, again, the
so
acting in
good.
that film is so good. especially
Uh-huh.
Toni Collette. Like, oh
Nate.
my god, I love her so
The way
much.
she like portrays the grief is just like it gets to you.
Mm.
Like
Like,
fuck.
mate, that scene. So when he comes back, from the, I won't spoil it for Spencer. When he comes back from the incident, so the brother, and then he just goes to bed, and then they just like they do that match from him just like staying awake at night to the morning, and then nothing's changed, and he's doing the same thing, and then you just
Yeah.
hear the mum scream in the background,
Mate,
and it's
like it's
what?
jarring. It's actually jarring.
You
So,
gotta watch
so good.
Spencer. You gotta.
I can't watch it on my one. So you just made it scary
Yeah,
now.
do it. Wait, I'll
Yeah.
watch it with you if you.
No,
I'll
because
tell you what. I'll watch it with you.
What?
but then you guys
Come
might
round
take
my
the
house.
piss.
We'll come and
No, no, no.
come spoon in my
We'll,
bed.
no. We'll play it at the same time and be
Oh,
on
yeah.
Discord, and you could chat to me what you're thinking.
All right. That's fine.
Yeah.
And
All right, let's do that.
there was another one as well. It Follows. I couldn't find that at all.
Is it not on
Oh.
Netflix anymore?
Nah, they removed that.
For
But,
real?
Yeah,
I watched the trailer, but
was it a bit
I don't
dead.
know. Do you like it, Finn?
Yep.
Was that more of a traditional sort of horror as well, right?
It looked quite more traditional.
Not really.
No?
Really?
It's quite different.
Oh.
They
got a
said
bait.
like it was a play on the classic horror themes or something.
Oh, that picture was vile.
I mean, is that the beach picture with the
Yeah.
woman with the leg? Yeah,
Fuck
nice.
that, mate.
Oh, I must look.
It's got an amazing score by Disaster Piece. I've got to say, like, actually so good. But it's like, it's just another one of those films. It doesn't use jump scares. It is just creepy. Like it's the score is used so well. Hold on, Spencer. I'll give you a scene to watch. 'cause
Oh
it-
no, I've read about this. Yeah, this is the sort of sex
You know what-
disease.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What,
so
leg?
sex.
We're
I
looking
told
at
you,
the
no,
leg.
sexually transmitted demon. I told you.
Yeah, no, I remember this when it came out. Yeah.
Oh my god.
demon.
Oh. So you pass
Yeah.
the curse onto like people by having sex.
Yeah.
All right, Spencer. I'll put the link to this
Oh.
in the Twitch chat, and you can watch this because this is a really good scene, and we need to watch it together.
Okay, I can't put it on the
You can.
stream.
Yeah, you can.
Alright, we're gonna get copyrighted again, but alright.
Why does that matter?
Doesn't really matter, to be fair. I'll check. Why is it such weird? Like, why is it not full screen? You know what I mean?
No.
Alright, I'll put it on the stream.
Oh,
I'll put it on the
really?
stream. On the stream. It's on the stream. We can watch it all
It's
together.
just wide. It's just wide.
Right, it's a 3-minute clip. So if you're not watching, sort of try and watch it. Yeah, you ready? I'm watching it.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to watch this, you know.
Fine, you're fine.
Oh, I already know it's gonna be a jump scare. Bro.
Is it
Jay?
Jay, can you open the door?
He's in the house.
What's going on?
Are you liking the
There's
audio?
nothing in the house, Jay.
Yeah, why is it so booky?
I saw
Yeah,
him.
that's good.
Open the door, okay? He's in the kitchen.
I'm not gonna let anything happen to you. Open the door and we'll figure this out. There's nothing out here.
Don't like going green.
Okay. Jay, why don't you sit down? I need water.
Such a good.
Oh, I
Something's
gotta
gonna happen, bro.
I'm scared.
Hey, I'll get you
I
some.
fucking hate
No, stay
films.
here.
I hate film.
Watch it, Spencer.
I'm watching. I promise.
Is something wrong with me?
Look, somebody broke the window. That really happened.
But I saw a girl in the kitchen. Jay, I love you. You're okay.
What?
You don't believe me. Mom?
Oh fuck that.
What do you mean?
You'll see. You'll see.
I'm watching, I promise.
Sorry, guys.
Ew.
Mom, is that you?
No, it's me.
Yara?
Yeah.
Don't open the door!
Watch it, Spencer.
See? Everything's okay.
What the fuck? What the fuck? Why is he so tall?
Oh! the tall man.
He's like Slender Man. Oh, this is gonna boot me out, bro. These are the sort of films that boot me out.
That wasn't scary, though. Or was it going to be?
That's scary. Were you listening to the audio?
Yeah. I got it in my
Just
ear.
like,
Oh, is that it?
That's just one good scene.
why is he so tall like that?
Bro, now I'm scared to open my fucking door. This is what I mean.
Is everything okay?
What? But
So that's what you want.
I'm genuinely confused by that.
Because it's like, this is what I mean with horrors. Like, if something's more relatable, whereas, like,
Yeah,
like The
yeah,
Lighthouse
totally
is not even a horror tool. It's not even up for discussion. That's just like a thriller. Like, it's not really scary at all. Hereditary's a little bit, but then like Midsommar is a
You
bit
didn't
more
watch
scary.
Hereditary, You didn't watch
Not
Hereditary.
Hereditary, sorry.
Yeah,
Annihilation. Hereditary's probably fucking scary. But now, that was filmed in a house, so it's more like relatable. That's what I'm trying to get across. All that
Yeah,
happened
no.
was a door opened and some fucking massive dude came in. Opened his door, some guy walks in, I'm fucked. I've accepted death from Slenderman.
You are such a weed.
But you agreed, right? It makes sense.
Yeah, I do agree with your point. Yeah.
What was so scary about that scene? Because what's so scary about the idea of a tall man walking in? Because he
It's-
did nothing.
It's this.
What?
It's just like
No,
suspense.
it's not.
It's
yeah,
just
first of all, it's
suspense.
suspense, and also the context of the film. So the
Yeah,
film.
no, I know it's probably a lot scarier in the context,
Yeah.
but I haven't watched the film, so I'm
Yeah.
saying, what is
But-
so scary about
Because
that?
it's
the
the
whole
fear of
point
the
is-
unknown as well. Because I have not watched the film, so like
The
I'm like,
creature.
what's gonna happen?
The whole point is that she's getting chased by this like demon that takes
So-
the form of people and just
Oh.
basically just follows her without stopping. Like, but it changes forms like to fit in wherever it needs to. So like it just if it, there she was in like a like it doesn't no sorry it changes forms to like different people, but like it can like stand out in a crowd. But basically, it just always follows you and it just kills you. And then the last
Oh.
person who the person who gave it to you, basically it starts following them, so it goes like all the way down the line. But so the whole point is like she's been
Oh.
you pass it on by having sex with someone. So in the beginning of the film, someone has sex with her and then basically like knocks her out, straps her to a wheelchair, and then basically shows her the demon walking towards them, and it's like, this is what I mean, like this is gonna happen. I'm really sorry I had to give it to you. It's gonna chase you. Don't let it catch you. Good luck.
What can you
How
get
come
rid of someone else? Does it get
Yeah.
rid of it for you?
Yeah, until they get killed. Yeah.
How come
Wait.
it didn't catch her when she was strapped to the wheelchair and being shown it?
Because he wasn't trying to get her caught. He was just trying to show her. Like he was like, I
Okay.
know this sounds like crazy, but look, like this thing is gonna chase you,
What?
and
So
you need to run away.
does it stop chasing him at that point then?
Yeah.
So the only way that she can get rid of it is to give it to someone else.
Yeah.
So she got to shag someone.
Yeah.
Bit harsh, isn't it?
But yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, that's all about. She doesn't want to, but she just wants to. Like, she doesn't really understand what's going on. So most of the film is about her, like, trying to understand what it is, and then just seeing it, and then running away from it, and like. But it's just kind of because it's like this completely like unemotional, like just all it does is just get towards you, like. So it's just
Yeah.
kind of cool. In the context, it's just like a creepy scene because she's been like she had this whole encounter before the scene with someone in her like house, so. You know, she has this. She's obviously really paranoid.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a really good scene. Really good film. I recommend watching it.
It's also more relatable because the people are like pretty much our age, right? Similar to our age. Just makes it even
Yeah.
more like, oh shit, this is. I know it's obviously.
You're obsessed with this
Fascinating.
whole.
It's just,
relate-
that's just how.
Relatability.
Yeah, because it helps like get you
But-
into the film more. Like if I can relate to something in the film, it's just easier for me to like link my emotions with that and how it would make me feel in that moment, you know?
Yeah, makes sense. It's
Especially
if
the
you-
feeling of
you-
getting chased is the worst feeling. It like I
I
know
know
you
you-
haven't played Outlast. I played the
Primal.
full
No, no.
Outlast.
I know what you
I
mean, I know.
fucking shit myself playing that
Mate,
game.
I played I played horror games before. Like I know the feeling. It's that feeling of like primal fear. Like literally, like it is actually fight or flight.
Yeah.
Like the closest you can get to it without it being the real thing. You're just like, fuck, I've got to run, and you
Ye-
just have to.
Yeah. Oh. Oh, that feeling. It's just like you can feel like your adrenaline coming up, and you're like, fuck, I want to run. And people are addicted to that. That's why they like horror films. I feel it's like roller coasters, right? Where you get that adrenaline rush.
Oh yeah.
So it's like
Oh,
that
yeah.
suspense building up your adrenaline, and then like that chasing scene
That's
is
so
like,
good.
oh. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm guessing that's what Hereditary was like, right? Maybe not. It's more suspenseful and like more scary, right? Jump scare wise, and the idea of it was
It's
more
It's not really jump scares.
really.
It's so like uneasy and so horrible. Like it's hard to explain the themes and like the
Yeah.
imagery. They're just disturbing as fuck.
Yeah.
It's a bit like Midsummer then.
More in a traditionally frightening way.
Yeah, but like similar vibe. Yeah, with
Darker
the, like,
way. It's
yeah.
more of a disturbing. Still, it's like a disturbing horror rather than like a jump
Yeah.
scare.
Yeah, for sure. It's all about the atmosphere. Like it's all
Mhm.
about building up an atmosphere and just like the feel of the film and the way the characters act in the film. Like it's less of like a
Yeah.
scary
Mhm.
monster. It's gonna kill you.
Yeah.
Run.
I way prefer like disturbing horrors though. I just think they're so much
Yeah.
better made, and they're
Mate,
just
fully.
like all these like jump scare like scary ones. Lots of them are
Seriously.
made so badly. Like
They're shit.
they're awful, and it's
Yeah.
just all that exists to do is just like jump
Like-
scare you and like make you a little bit scared, but it's
Like,
not well made or
yeah.
well structured or well plotted or anything.
Yeah, pretty
like
much.
people just want that like jump scare and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
scary film.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Like it's fun to watch if we watch it together or something.
Yeah,
Like,
I
it's actually like
I'm not interested in
good.
watching some of
yeah,
them.
literally. Yeah.
But that's just the thing though, because I have this real issue. So like Blumhouse, the production company, like pumps out these shit, like 90% of the time, 95% of the time they're shit, low budget, jump scare based, poorly written, badly acted horror films, right? That act
Yeah.
is this now they're mainstream horror films, so stuff like Truth or Dare or stuff like Fantasy Island and shit like that, just or Ma, like if you've watched that, just basically plots that are just obviously generated en masse by some sort of intern that just types out stuff like for minimum
Lol.
wages, and then they just get like a cheap shit writer who's directed some sort of like maybe the director of some Transformers, like so, I don't know, some Transformers spin-off movie back in 2010 or something like that. Just they're always directors that have no like good reputation, and the writers are always shit, and the acting is always like the same group of low budget
God,
young
yeah.
American pretty to the eye but
You know,
like really
yeah.
shit actors.
Mm.
And it's so painful because they basically stand as what is looked on as the mainstream of horror, like,
Yeah,
and it's just
fully.
all it is a bad writing and then jump scares, because that's what they need. Like because jump scares fundamentally, like, they are scary in the way that, it's so easy to build up tension and then just make people jump. And for a lot of people, that's enough. That's enough for them. Like, that's a horror film.
Exactly,
But
yeah.
the beauty of these films, like Midsummer and Annihilation and Hereditary, is that they're actually building a story. They're actually building characters and making you feel horror through like a
Yeah.
far more deeper sense. Like,
Exactly.
it's not something physical like Boo. It's something primal like, oh, your entire family is cursed. You're being haunted by a demon, and there's literally no way to escape. It's just going to torment you and play with you and destroy your family until you're dead. Like, that's crazy. And it's way better than what the shit we get.
So you say that scares you more?
Mate, I don't have to be. So I don't understand this whole thing. I kind of understand this thing where you like, oh, I have to relate to a film in order to be scared by it. But I also don't, because I am scared by situations that people have described to me. Like, I don't have to have experienced a situation to empathize with it and therefore feel emotion from it. Like, the things in Midsummer, they make me uneasy because you get immersed in the film and you're sort of acting as though you're seeing it through the character's eyes, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole point of the film. And especially when the writing is this good and the directing is this good, it's not hard to get immersed, and it's not hard to really get in the shoes of the characters and understand what it's like to be in there, be experiencing what they are.
Yeah, but you know when we had that discussion like 10 podcasts ago, like Life After Death, and we talked about paranormal activity, and you're like, you don't believe in any of that. So surely when you watch a film that involves it, you just think, oh, I don't believe in it. Doesn't really scare me. Or do you just push away that and be like, fuck that, let
No,
me just
that's
go in with a
not.
fresh thought and like,
You have to believe in things to be scared by them. Like I might get scared by a monster. I don't think monsters are real. I don't think
Yeah,
ghosts
like,
are real. I don't think any of that's real.
that's not how. I don't think that's not how it works. The whole point, like, because if that was so, then anything that wasn't like we wouldn't enjoy anything that wasn't non-fiction, like film or book, because it just all you could think all like if all you could think about was, oh, this isn't real, I'm not scared by it, or oh, this isn't real, I'm not sad, I'm not intense, I'm not like feeling the drama of it or anything, the emotion of it, then what was the reason for like creating fiction? Like the whole point is that people who write well can write stories that even though they're fiction are immersive and believable. So in that few hours that you're in the cinema and you're wholly surrounded by picture and sound, you can believe that this is the world that
Yeah.
in that film that they're living, and it's you can empathize with them.
It becomes your whole reality. You become immersed within the film, even if you don't believe in
Yeah.
it. And you know,
That's film. That is literally what film is as a baseline, because it's obviously a lot of it, like 99% of it, isn't real. Documentaries, sure, but most of it just isn't real. It's a fabrication, but it's meant to be immersive, so you can feel immersed and feel like you're part of a story that isn't real.
Wait, so Spencer, do you believe in like ghosts and shit?
I say I believe in them, but it's not. I think it's when you have just the idea that is just so. To me, it's believable in a way, you know, because I still want to do that podcast where he goes to the woods. We would do that podcast soon. But it's just
Yeah,
like,
Please do.
you
Great.
know, distance now.
they say,
For
again,
real, Spencer, do you want to do it?
we could do it this week. To be fair, I'm being dead
No,
serious.
not. Hold on. Not this week. Give me Monday.
Oh, you got your exams, yeah, of course.
So next Thursday or Friday, I'll do it.
Okay, we'll do that then.
Which woods do you want to go to?
I know the exact woods. I know the perfect woods, bro. We're good. We got it sorted. I've got this planned. It's good.
Oh, I can't wait for this. You're gonna shit yourself.
Mate, I'm fucking gonna hate it. But it's
I'll
just.
tell you what. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find like a collection of scary woods stories, and I'm gonna tell you them as we walk along.
We got out an
Oh,
interactive
yeah.
chat though. Like we need to have the chat.
Yeah, for
after.
sure, for sure. But
I
I'm
need to
just
work
gonna
out
tell
sort of the logistics of that though and how it's gonna work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
that
you're just
might
gonna
be a
have to
bit-
bring. Can you do it from
Mm.
your phone?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
But we'll work out. It's fine.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I think it's just the fact that it's just the idea is the unknown. I think it is for me. Like not knowing. So, for example, like not knowing what's behind this door after watching that. My brain's so fresh from watching the It Follows trailer, and that idea has left like a scar in my head compared to the Lighthouse, Annihilation. Like all of that's cool. Like don't get me wrong, the ideas are cool, but it's not left like a horror sort of scar. Like for me, if I open this door and I've just watched It Follows, I'm gonna be scared of like the Slenderman because
Do it.
I'm not gonna open it because I'm actually scared.
Are you actually scared?
I'm being dead serious. Yeah.
Go for it. You got to go for
Okay,
it.
I will do it, but like,
Your fears.
oh, we're fine. We're fine.
They have been faced. It's fine.
But for me,
There you
it's
go.
just something that leaves a scar in my head. It's the same with Paranormal Activity, like, well, not the actual film, just like paranormal stuff, where it's just the fear of the unknown of that could be happening. Like, if my door handle just started moving a bit, and I've just watched Paranormal Activity, I'd be like, fuck, out the window.
Yeah. That's kind of fair. Yeah.
Hmm.
I think my point is, for me, it's not just for me. It is a bit about being related to the film in terms of just being in like the character's shoes. For me, being the same age, like in a similar sort of structure, like house-wise or environment-wise, it's just more relatable for me to put myself in that position in my own house, out the film, and like feel the film, like feel the effects of the film afterwards. That's what creates a horror for me. Like if I'm scared during the film, perfect. But if I'm scared after the film, that's a horror film complete for me. Like jump scare films that aren't really scary. They're just scary during the film. But it's just like the ideas that they create after the film is what like resonates with me because it will affect my life after the film. Like for me, like I said, like opening that door, that was a struggle. Like it took me a couple of seconds.
A real struggle.
Now I can just go woo. and nothing's there.
So proud of you, Spencer.
Thanks. It was good. But I think that's what my point was trying to get across.
Interesting.
Much to think about.
It is
Yeah.
much to
But
think
so link it to the forest where it's going to be what we'll do it at like 10 p.m. so make sure that sunset's going to keep getting lighter and lighter.
Right, it must be midnight.
Yeah, come
Midnight.
on. 3 a.m.
Come on, witching
Come
hour.
on.
I'm not getting
Yeah.
up at 3 a.m.
Yeah, not
You're
3 a.m.
absolute-
No, one-
How?
no, you guys got to think. No one's going to be up to watch a live stream. At
Yeah, you
3
got.
Sorry, do you know the sleeping schedules?
We'll do it like 11ish. 11ish. We'll arrive there.
sick, we'll have a chat of 2 people.
um,
That's the gang.
but it's just
Yeah. The best comment anyway.
How
So,
it is.
To be
It's
fair,
so
that is only half of what we have right now.
There's-
Lol.
like it's like the environment we're going to be in is obviously a bit eerie. Like it's the woods, okay. It's a bit, but then the
Yeah.
added darkness of obviously the environment is even more. And then when you hear those sort of like leaves rustling, twigs cracking, that's when you're like
What?
your brain plays like a little trick in your head because obviously all the media and stuff that you watch in like films that portray this sort of foresty booky vibe, that's gonna
Do you reckon you'll actually
resonate
struggle?
with me. I'll be a bit scared at first. I'll be dead serious, yeah. Don't pull any bullshit on me either. Like I'm being serious.
Ellen, can we like
Oh,
go
we'll have
along
so much fun.
or something?
Yeah. We're gonna be lurking.
But yeah, it's not gonna be fun. I just think, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
And it's also the fact, you know, in horror films and stuff, it's the characters. Let's say like a classic one, the characters slowly like split away from each other, and it's just the fact there's gonna be 2 of us. That's what. If it was a group of like 4, fine. 2 people.
Yeah.
Like
No, that definitely does
And
make it
we're
more
socially
scary.
distant.
yeah, fine. Social
You
distancing,
can't
yeah.
like cuddle Finn to like make you
Music.
feel better.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, you're
What?
right. No,
it will make it more spooky because you can't be
Yeah.
near to each other.
Yeah, yeah,
so-
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That'll be funny. I reckon it'll
Funny.
be a laugh, Spencer.
it'll be a laugh watching back,
That's a
but during the
laugh.
moment, it will not be a laugh.
I reckon I'll have a laugh.
I'll be laughing, mate.
I'll be
Oh.
laughing.
My screen.
I'll make it.
Yeah.
I'll make it our biggest stream yet. I'll do some good advertising on some
Yeah,
platforms.
we'll
Make
need
it-
some big
You
bits.
gotta make sure the 3G is good and stuff though. Like
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's I'll work out the
Wait.
logistics.
Spencer, where have you decided like where you're going?
Yeah. I got the perfect place. The perfect place.
Okay. I'll just let
You got to go
allow
and check that it's got signal on that.
Oh no, I
Yeah,
went
go
there
on.
like 4 weeks ago. It was fine. My phone worked. I was on my phone.
Alright.
But that was during the day, so it's definitely booky at night. I know it is. It's like a bit forest, bit
Oh.
field. Like we'll stay in the forest area. It's like a
Sounds
20-minute
cool.
drive from it, or 15-minute drive from me.
Nice.
So
I'm looking forward to
yeah, we'll sort out that. Oh god.
it.
it. You've landed yourself in it now, pal.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it, to be honest. I think it'll be good entertainment though. I think that'll be like 5-star entertainment.
Yeah, I agree.
Agreed.
I'm gonna put some pages up on trees. Have you try and collect them all? Oh fuck's sake.
Yes.
Yeah, should we
Jesus.
send you on a little?
Oh my god, that is such a that would be so
Lemon
sick.
behind.
Slenderman business.
Yeah, if we have
Oi. There's
Oh.
actually something in there.
yeah, if we have like a little motive to do, we have to complete this little checklist before we
Yeah.
can bounce out.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, that's quite good actually. We could do that. Have a checklist. Yeah, we need to make sure it's all organised well, and I'll be down for it. Yeah. Do it from like 10 to 1 or something, like a 3-hour thing.
That's a long stream. My phone will probably die before I can finish that stream.
Just bring
You're
a
gonna
portable
need to get
charger.
a portable charger, Spencer.
Oh yeah, I've got one. You played the Slenderman
Sounds like-
game? Yeah. I have.
Mate, that game is scary.
Exactly.
What a throwback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Sound.
I've enjoyed this one. Enjoyed the podcast.
Yeah.
It's been 2 hours, jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Our
it's
next
a long-
one. Our next one before this one.
Oh, I've
before
got-
that one is gonna be. Oh, what was it?
Wait, you got an idea?
I was just gonna say we need something deep.
I've got a fairly like debatable one, as in like
Go
one that
on.
we can debate a lot. So the education system.
Ooh.
Okay.
Rah.
Ooh, rah.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a lot to unpack.
Interesting one.
that's just an idea. There's obviously others. If you
Yeah.
chuck some at me, chuck some ideas.
Yeah. All right. We'll think. We'll have a think, mate.
Yeah, something
okay.
something more like debatey, you know,
Okay.
like
What's
something
that?
that
Abortion.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know?
let's get some political views in here.
And that would get really awkward, actually.
Yeah, that's the
Awkward.
problem.
Huh?
Why
Good.
get awkward?
Because it can, if you find someone that has an opposing view to you and then you start arguing, it's all a bit like,
Slash
oh.
heated.
But no one's gonna have like.
Well, yeah,
I
but
don't think any of us will have
no.
opposing views.
It's
So.
hard to debate it, though, doesn't it?
Exactly, yeah. I don't know if we'll be having
True.
many debates.
Oh well. All right.
We'll find
I'm
topics.
tired.
Yeah,
I'm
no
gonna
worries.
go.
No worries, we finished it. It's good. Thank you very much for everyone coming on. It's been fun.
Thank you for watching, everyone.
Yeah.
I loved it.